Whispers haunt us in the dark, igniting a fleeting spark. Dreams are lost within the fight, restless souls in endless light. Together we won't lose, if we know the rules. There's no rest for the wicked, and the kind they've inflicted. One day we will see a true victory. There's no rest for the wicked, vigilant we shall be. This goes damaging pain, trapped inside bitter rage. To fight them we must be strong. We are in this for the long haul. Together we won't lose, if we know the rules. There's no rest for the wicked, and the kind they've inflicted. One day we will see. Hello, everyone. It's Retro Nerd Girl, and we have a fantastic show for you today. We are going to be watching Star Wars Episode 5, Empire Strikes Back. It's one of my favorite movies. I'm not sure it might, is it? No, I think it's number 2 for me as on my top list. You know, Terminator is number 1 for me. But it is an excellent movie, an excellent Star Wars movie, and I have guests with me today to watch it along with you, and it's going to be incredible. Let's see, we can bring the first guest up. We've got Douglas A. Burton.
All right, what's happening, everybody?
Yes, and we have the lovely, the wonderful Lorena Creel.
Yes.
Hello, everybody. I am so excited to be here, to see Doug here, and this is like one of my top 5 favorite movies of all time. Cannot wait to watch this.
I think it's probably
this is
on
one
like
of the best.
this has got to be like on everybody's like top, list, like the top 3 to 5, right? Just the impact of what it meant in this franchise, and so it's just one of those movies you want when you first see it, you just never forget the feeling and the elation of learning about the story and everything. It's just fantastic. Now I have some surprises for everyone today. There's a couple of things. I have a video that we're going to see a little bit later on of Doug, which will give us about 10 minutes to get everything together behind the scenes. But it's going to be a good
10
one.
minutes of me dancing.
Yes.
I'm kidding.
Yes, it's really good. It's a great explanation video. And then let's see if I can and I have a little presentation at the very end too, because I wanted to relay this. But I think the thing that's really super, super exciting about today is that you guys are all here with us to watch this movie. First of all, let's see who's in the chat. We've got DJ K Knight is here.
DJ Knight.
And yes, DJ Knight. Let me see. Let's see. And that's Knight with a K. And Charles Ratcliffe is here as well. Good to see you, Charles.
Hey, Charles.
And let's see. BGD is here. Hello, BGD.
What's up, BG?
Hello.
Dead Man Walking 55 is here. Oh my God. So good to see you. We got Bonzo Kilborn in the house. Says, may the force be with you.
Yes.
And let's see. Doug, you know the power of the dark side. Really good.
I love the sound of his glove when he's doing that. You can just hear the leather
Yes. It's
tightening up when
crunching.
he's
Yeah. All those really cool sound effects. And we got Sherry Lee in the house. Hello, how are you today? And of course we have Lorena. Let's see who else is here. Let's see. Paul N is here as well. Great to see you, Paul N. And let's see. Oh, Keith E, so good. You can hear me. This is really good because we didn't want what happened last week to happen again. And Jack is here, says hello from Texas. Was lucky to have a gal pal win tickets to the Houston premiere. Oh my goodness, so cool. And we were not disappointed. This is the rarest of films, a sequel that is better and does and does the Empire Strikes Back. It does. It is, I think
Oh
it
yeah.
just eclipsed the first movie, even though the first movie has its own charm and its own wonderment and bewilderment, just like, oh my God, what is this story? This left questions and this
Well,
left
right.
it
We're
like,
right. Like A New Hope was self-contained. It had the beginning, the middle, and the end, and there was this
yeah.
triumphant end. They played the great music and gave everybody but Chewie the medal. You know, so then you've got Empire Strikes Back, which does not conclude. It just leaves you hanging, and the
Yes.
good guys are not doing good. In fact, if you as we watch this film, the good guys pretty much strike out
Lose.
every time. They are
Yeah.
not doing good in this film.
Yeah.
They lose pretty much every
Mm-mm.
battle. So it's quite an interesting approach to the film, to a middle sequel like this, to take your good guys and just have them strike out. You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
and then
It's
say the end.
yeah,
You
the
know?
end.
Yeah, it's crazy from a storytelling standpoint, but it's also brilliant.
Oh yeah. It really was. And
Mhm.
it didn't it disappointed you, but it disappointed you in a satisfying way. You're like, oh, I can't wait to see. I really need to know what happens next.
Yes,
Right?
because you did it wasn't I believe what The Empire Strikes Back did was something that had not been done in cinema. You basically took your heroes and just kept just firing shots at them. It's just like they could not catch a break. And through
No.
all of that, you found out more about them
Yeah.
as they were tortured, for lack of a better term, than if they were always, that they were always winning. So I tell
Yes.
people it's just like this, it got worse, it got worse, and it got worse, but our
Yeah.
characters got better and better and better,
Yeah. And you root for them because you're like, man, they're in a tough situation. They're doing
Mhm.
the best that they possibly can. These are the elite of the rebels, right? This we got the princess, we got the flyboy Han Solo, we
Mhm.
had the legend, Luke Skywalker, this kid that's just got moxie,
Right.
and it's like, okay, these are our best guys and they're really failing right now. No matter
That's
what
right.
they do,
Mhm.
like the
I
empire
got
is
you.
like, I got you here. We're gonna corner them and we're gonna trample all over these guys.
Yeah, and
And
and so the Empire wins a
yeah,
lot in
yeah,
Empire Strikes
Mhm.
Back. I mean, that's the title. It's funny, we just say Empire Strikes Back as if it's a single word and concept in our head, but the Empire Strikes Back is almost like a campy callback to like a serial. The Empire, they
yes,
deliver their blow. And what's interesting is there's a string of films, and this taught me a lot as a writer. So for
mm,
everyone out there who's creative and wants to be a writer or a
mm.
screenwriter, or just wants to understand why they're liking films or stories, this is a great example because the year before Star Wars came out was Rocky,
Oh
and you have
yes,
Empire Strikes Back. And some of my
yeah,
favorite movies, the good guy gets their butt kicked. Rocky doesn't win the fight in the first movie.
yeah,
The victory for him was that he just went the distance with a far superior boxer. That was the victory.
Mhm.
And then you have Empire Strikes Back. The good guys lose, and most people say that this is their favorite film of the story. Star Trek 2, Kirk gets his butt kicked. He, just gets annihilated by Khan. That's a
Mhm.
lot of people's favorite one in the series there. The Infinity War in the Marvel story is a lot of people's favorite movie there. And that's the
yeah.
one the good guys lose. Thanos wins in that one.
Oh
So
yes,
when
yes,
you're telling a story, if the good guys lose, we're scared, right?
yeah,
We're as a reader, you're unsettled because good
yeah.
guys aren't supposed to lose.
Mhm.
Two, you are creating an absolutely compelling villain, because a villain that constantly one-ups your hero is you're like, someone's got to take this guy down a peg. Jesus,
Yes.
someone's got to get him. So you're building tension toward a final inevitable victory, hopefully, for the good guys. So, and Lorena
Yes.
and I have talked about this on her channel, the girl boss syndrome, the negative side of it. There are some great examples too, but the ones that don't work are the ones where this facet is not happening. So, yeah. So anyway, it's good to know.
Yes, yes. So, yeah, you guys need to head over to Lorena Creole's channel. She has a couple of videos that she has had discussions with Doug, and they're really, really juicy. So go on ahead and check that, especially if you love story and you love storytelling. This is what we love. We really dive into uncovering these kinds of details about how stories work and why some stories work and some stories don't.
That's an important thing you should ask as a viewer, as an audience member, and definitely as a writer. Why does this work? Why do I like this so much? Why, what is making this work on this film and something not working on this film? And if you think about it, you can find answers there, and it's good to come up with those answers.
Yes. One thing I want to do though before we get started is that if you're enjoying this conversation, and we're going to have a little bit more conversation, and there's going to be a video. I wanted to let you know that it's possible for you guys to share this if you are enjoying it and want to share with some other people who you think are interested in this. On X, we're also simulcasting, and if you want to go on ahead and let your viewers or your followers know that we're doing this, go right ahead. That would be
How
a
do I
lot of
share
fun
this?
and really help the channel. Okay, so if you go to X right now and you go under my profile, you will see a live stream there. I think there's a pinned video for Rollerball, and then there's then underneath that you'll see the live stream, and then you
Okay, so
could
click
just
like. So
oh
click
you
heart.
oh yeah, you could click heart. Yeah,
And then
we love
click
that.
repost.
Yes, repost, and if you want to put a quote in there, you can, and that will allow you to do that. And so yeah, that would I always seem to forget, but today I didn't forget. All right, so before we get started, I wanted to just hear a quick remarks. I'm going to start with you, Lorena, and ask you about the first time you saw this movie. What did you think, and when was it? Was it recent, or was it when you were smaller? What happened?
It was when I was a kid.
Okay.
And yes, I am dating myself back, in the Stone Age before such things as Fandango or whatever. And my dad could never get there on time. He had to wait. So it's like we couldn't get a seat at all to see it. It's like we had to wait. So literally, I first saw like the Millennium Falcon, and all I know is it was getting chased by something and something stopped working. And I'm like, wait, what do you mean? So I had to wait for like another 2 hours before we could go in and, and see the film. So by the time I did, I'm watching this thing. I'm just like, this can't be happening, right? They won in the last one. And they, I'm sitting there and I'm just like, this literally, this can't be happening. This cannot be happening. And then at the end, the way that they drop, literally the best mic drop of all time. So then I go back to school. I'm just like, did you guys see what happened? And it hung over like the longest time. That
Yeah.
was it. People just had to know, was it true? Was it not true? It
Yeah.
was such an amazing force of storytelling
Ah,
that I can't tell you how many books for kids, activity books for kids, you know, they use The Empire Strikes Back to do everything. And as a matter of fact, I think I still have one of the activity books somewhere, like packed up somewhere. Well,
ah,
literally, that was all it was, trivia about the film.
yeah.
Um, you know, activities and reading comprehension. They
Yeah, yeah.
they really did pimp that movie to help teach a lot of us. But I was just amazed. People were just amazed. The press was amazed. People were just like, how the heck could you do this to us? And that really showed me the power of when you take storytelling and if you do it right and you turn it on
Yes.
its head, that they will sit there and they will watch it and they will be
Yes.
enthralled,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah. And
That's right.
I think Hollywood has been trying to recreate that with a lot of franchises. They just haven't been able to do it as well as it was
Mhm.
done in Empire Strikes Back. Now, Doug, what about you? What was your first experience with this movie?
So I think I said on the last stream, technically, the first movie I ever saw was A New Hope, but I was
Yes.
18 months old, so I don't have too much of a memory of it. I just am happy that that is true, you know. But I remember I could sit here and I was 4 years old, but I have memories of seeing The Empire Strikes Back, and I remember several things. One, I went to see it with my dad and my sister and my dad's. It was his old college roommate, actually, a gentleman named Mike, who went on to become a movie reviewer back in the, I think to this day. And I remember them discussing it. And back then, after the movie ended, if you wanted to, if it wasn't sold out or whatever, you could circle back in and rewatch the opening of the movie again. And I remember they were debating, like, I don't know, man, it didn't really end. There was no conclusion to it. I remember them hashing this out, and they went back in, they had a question, and I remember they rewatched part of like 15 minutes of the opening to help answer a question that they had between themselves. And so it was the first time, this movie, that I really listened to two adults discussing film in all seriousness. And
Mm.
I didn't realize it at the time, but this would be something that I had emulated my whole life, that this is something I like to do. I like to discuss stories. And another mini story about The Empire Strikes Back was, and I'll never forget this.
Yeah.
We were driving in my dad's car. He had this old Monarch. It had an 8-track player. I remember that. Rolling Stones was always in
Wow.
Yeah.
yeah. And we were driving around, and he was listening to like an NPR style station, some radio station. And the big thing was they were going to preview music for the upcoming film, The Empire Strikes Back, which was the sequel to the breakout movie, A New Hope, Star Wars from 1977. And so my dad was driving around and he kept listening because he wanted to hear whatever music they were going to play. And they premiered John Williams' Imperial March on the radio.
Ooh.
The way you would hear like a new Beatles song or something, and this was 1980. So I remember him jacking up the volume, and I was in the back seat and just hearing, the Imperial March blasting through. My dad was like, "Oh man, that is awesome!" He's like, I remember even the DJ. He's like, "That apparently this is Darth Vader's theme into the next movie, and from what I'm told, this is a Vader movie, and the rebels are going to have it tough this way." And
Yes.
so that it just built up
Mhm.
so much
Yeah.
anticipation, and I'll never forget hearing the Imperial March for the first time live on the radio. It's so cool.
Oh my God. That is so cool. I love it. I love your father's enthusiasm for for
Mhm.
Star Wars.
Totally.
Now, I'm gonna read a little bit of the chat before I get into my memory of it. And Bonza says that he can't stay, but have a great show, everyone. We'll miss you,
Yeah.
Bon. Yeah, we're gonna miss you. Hope you have a good one, and I hope to see that maybe you catch the replay of this. This is gonna be some really cool information coming up. And Keith E says that this is actually the first time he's gonna be seeing this.
No way.
Yeah, I'm like, my jaw is on the floor.
Man,
Well, you're in for a great treat,
that just
Keithy.
makes this that much more special.
I know.
Welcome aboard, Keith. You're gonna love
Yeah,
it.
you're gonna love it. It's one of the best. I would say the best Star Wars, but one of the best. If your favorite is the first original Star Wars. And then it says this was traumatizing at the time. I was 10. I was a 10-year-old. Um, though the first time I ran into a cliffhanger, and then the good guys didn't win. Doug just took the words from me. Yeah, it's so true. And oh my God, look. Stunt Brat is here, guys. Oh my goodness, so good to see you. I was so concerned for Stunt Brat because I know that she lives in California. At least
Oh,
she
Oh,
yes,
no.
my
sat with us.
dear. How
Yeah,
are you?
but she emailed me back and said that she was fine, but it was one of those things. I was like praying for her. I was like, oh, I hope she's gonna be okay. And so I'm so
Yeah,
glad to
obviously,
hear
I
she's
hope
all
so.
right. Yeah. And thank you so much
Uh,
for joining us today as well.
yeah. Oh, before I forget, Stunt Brat, yes, I gave my niece the Grinch sweater and she abso-freaking-lutely loved it. So,
Oh,
yes.
Nice.
yes, and by the way, also Stun, I haven't been able to get to the post office. It's been one of the most insane weeks for me personally. So, I it on a good note and also bad, like just crazy. It's just been
Oh,
crazy. So I haven't been able to go. So, but next week we're gonna do that unboxing, and it'll be a lot of fun. We're gonna do it together. And let's see. Paul N says the original Star Wars trilogy is a wonderful story full of good versus evil. It really was. I think they nailed that storyline. And let's see. I'm just gonna Botanical Brother is here. Haven't seen you in so long. How are you doing? Says greetings. You all picked the right weather season to showcase this movie because of the ice planet Hoth. Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah, it looks like Hoth outside my window. So, yep. Let's see. And let's see. I'm gonna zoom down just a little to catch up with you guys. I hope I'm not missing anything. If I am, do let me know. Botanical Brother says Empire Strikes Back is liked by so many because it's more palpable and uh, ha- as potentially real because in reality, the good guys don't always win at
That's
first.
right.
Mhm.
That's a
Yeah,
hard lesson in life, and good
yeah.
movies capture that.
Yeah. And Paul N said that Star Wars trilogy changed my young life. I became a science fiction fan once I saw these wonderful movies. Oh my God, me too. And that just brings me into sort of uh my story of how when I saw the movie at first. Well, first I saw the movie with my mom, and we really bonded and really loved the movie. It was is one of those things where for some people, I wouldn't say for everybody, this was something that they could share with their families, and it was just sort of like Star Wars was on. We jumped at every opportunity to enjoy it together. This movie came out, we were right there front and center as soon as we could possibly see this movie. And it, it was one of those experiences where I, when we got the news of hearing that Darth Vader was Luke's father.
Keith hasn't seen this yet.
Oh,
No,
of course he knows. It's part of the zeitgeist, you know.
too soon, too soon.
Oh no, oh
I'm
no.
kidding.
Sorry about that, Keithy. And so when I heard that, it was just sort of like, what? My mom and I looked at each other and we were like, no way. And so that was the biggest moment, I think, for us was the shock of learning that. And then also like that ending of like, are they gonna make it? I mean, Han Solo is like lost. We never how are we gonna get him back with the team? And it was just so like, disappointing, but I guess it was the feeling was like, that's it. We don't get to stay here for another 2 hours and find out what's gonna happen. We won't
Yeah,
see another movie for another 2 years or so. So it just kept us really, really, excited about what was going to happen next. So, of course, when the next movie came out, we were front and center for that. And it was one of those things where if you do a movie like this correctly, your next movie is going to be highly anticipated. And you brought up, the Infinity Saga and
Yeah.
how that Thanos snap really made you curious of how were the writers going to write themselves out of this pile of bug, because how do you get these guys safe, and how do you win the day after such an intense battle, and that really and showed in the last movie that they did, that was that last big movie. And so I feel like this was one of the first movies to ever do that and like really nail it, so
Yeah.
and really created that anticipation for the last one. How are they going to get out of this situation?
Yeah.
And
And, it's not just that the good guys lost.
yeah,
Everything was kind of like spoiled in a way. Like when the hero sets off on the journey, that's a heroic moment, right? The hero's going to accept this great quest. When Luke sets out to go save his friends in Cloud City, Yoda's like,
yeah,
dude, what are you doing? You're quitting your training. So even Luke's heroic departure is kind of muddy water. Is he making a good choice? His the wise mentors telling him not to go. If
yeah,
you honor what they fight for, you will let them die if that's their fate.
yeah,
That's a pretty big lesson from a mentor. Jesus, right?
yes,
That's huge. So
yeah,
he goes and he just gets his butt kicked. To this day, seeing Luke dangling from the weather vane upside down with his hands severed, I'm like, whew, that he is not doing good. That didn't go
yes.
well. That's pretty low. That's a low point for a character.
Oh, yeah, like completely decimated, and it starts right off at the very beginning. And Dead Man Walking says this can't be happening. Oh yeah, but there was hope after that Last Jedi. It meant something completely different. Yeah. And Jack says we came out to the theater looking, going like, how are the good guys going to win this thing? And yeah, that's
Yeah.
exactly what my mom and I we were like, we can't wait. And Lorena talked about the memorabilia of the time. I was able to get the Marvel storybook. I guess the comic book for the adaptation of the movie, and of course that got destroyed over time. I may still have like a little bit left of it, but it was one of those things where it was just like that storyline was so good, and we also got more Vader, and Vader was sort of like the secret sauce of the first movie, the intimidation, and that the trying to learn what is his place in all of this. So yeah, it was so great. Let's see. BGD says that this movie was such much anticipated as the official continuation of Star Wars. As fans, the first movie had already been served competing versions of the next installment from Alan Dean Foster at Marvel.
Oh.
Yes, yes. And I think it's referred to the splinter of the Men's Eyes, or the
I think
splinter
Mind's Eye.
the Mind's Eye, yeah, okay. The Splinter of the Mind's Eye, and, oh, yeah, he did correct, sorry. Oops. And, oh, Tom F is here. Hello, Tom F, how are you? And, let's see, BGG says, Dean Allen Foster had released the compelling novel Splinter of the Mind's Eye, following Luke and Leia's maroon on a mysterious swamp planet that wasn't Bodega. Ooh. Alright.
Wow.
I've heard a lot about this, particular book, and I really should, take a look at it, just to see. Now, I'm gonna, just I hope I'm not missing anyone's great question. If so, do let me repeat it, and we'll go for it. And Joseph McKay, hello, how are you? Just left a message, says I really like that George Lucas had a complete draft outlining the trilogy, so the whole story flowed from one movie to the next. Yeah, I
Kinda
mean
like
that's
they planned
so
it,
Yeah, yeah. So it's so important to have that structure, just a light outline of how the, and if it changes, fine. But as long as we have a place to refer back to, and or to that is related to the flow of a movie. And so yeah, that's a great point. Joseph Begay, so good to see you. And oh look, it's pod racing Palpatine, he's back. Says as one of the mind's eye spoilers, Luke and Leia get it on and Vader dies and
Oh,
like a punk. Oh my goodness. No, I don't know if I can handle that.
like a punk.
Yeah. So I guess Luke and Leia never get to be brother and sister, huh?
Yeah, apparently not.
Yeah, which I never really enjoyed, but yeah, I don't know. It was almost like they were trying to find something to outdo I am your father or to
Just
match
add
up
another
to.
layer. Yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, come on, no. It's okay that she picked Han Solo over Luke. Let's see. And DJ Knight says, I am ready for this one. Okay, yes, we're going to get started.
Yep, I've got my
Um,
AT-AT shirt on today.
yeah.
I love the AT-ATs. I couldn't get enough of those as a kid. I would
Oh,
rewatch the
so
Battle of
good.
Hoth I'd rewind on my VHS player and hit play and sit back and watch again. I loved it.
Okay, so now you've brought us to the point in which we need to talk about the Battle of Hoth. And guys, I have a 10-minute video of the wonderful Douglas A. Burton talking about this. Let me see how we'll do it. We'll do it like this.
Do you want me to tell them what it is, or does the video do that?
If you want to set it up, you can.
Well, I'll just tell you real quick. And real quick, if you're watching on YouTube, make sure you click like. If you're watching on X, please click that little heart and repost. It helps the algorithm on Retro Nerd Girls channels. But the video that we're going to watch is awesome because it discusses the origins, the creative origins inside the psyche of George Lucas, the two competing influences that fuse together and form the Battle of Hoth. And once you hear it, what it was, you can't unsee it, and it's great. To me, it elevates the battle and makes me enjoy it even all the more.
You guys are gonna love this. Okay, so I'm gonna bring everybody back. Gonna bring everybody into the green room, and then we'll have everyone watch the video. It'll be a good 10 minutes. Let's see. So I'm gonna get this.
George Lucas was absolutely inspired by War of the Worlds.
Yeah.
And took the setting from The Thing in 1951, The Thing from Another World.
Thing from Another World.
Okay.
Yes. Also done around about this time.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
So he's like, I want the setting of The Thing, an Arctic setting, and I want to recapture the terror of an advancing behemoth of technology that's advancing on you that you cannot stop. And those two ideas crystallized to become the Battle of Hoth in 1980 in Empire Strikes Back. And once I found that out, you can't unfind it out. Like when I watch the Battle of Hoth, I actually am loving the fact that he's tapping into War of the Worlds from 1953. Mm-hmm. And what I did just for this channel, just for everyone here, I went through and I grabbed a couple side-by-side screenshots so you could see how the War of the Worlds from 1953 was reborn as the Battle of Hoth in 1980. So it's really, really awesome. So it's one thing that's good to know is that the original book, War of the Worlds, the creatures have tripod-like legs. That's how it's described in the book. So they were walkers in the 1898 version, and they were walkers in the radio broadcast in 1938.
Okay.
So Lucas returned to that idea of walking Goliaths advancing on civilization. This is one of the original book covers, and you can see kind of what I'm talking about.
We'll add that to the stage.
Right. So here you could see this is one of the original versions. You could see the tripod legs that were exactly as described in the H.G. Wells novel. And what's kind of fun is you can see a little bit of concept art here. And I always now can't miss it when I'm watching Empire Strikes Back, when the snow speeders are coming in face first, how much it looks exactly like that original concept art of this giant thing up top and these walking legs down below. So I just found that interesting. But I wanted to show you how The Thing from 1951, War of the Worlds from 1953 became one of the most famous scenes in Star Wars, the Battle of Hoth. So first off, we'll start with The Thing, and this will be brief. But you can see this is a snapshot up top from the movie of The Thing, and you can see the Arctic base. And Lucas, of course, tries to recapture the idea of the Arctic base with the secret rebel base on Hoth. You know, you see the snow gear and the frigid settings from The Thing is matched again in Empire Strikes Back. I found this interesting. This guy up here, who's one of the main characters in The Thing, is dressed exactly as Lucas dressed Han Solo. He's
So
with the fur,
Yes, that's wonderful.
Yeah, I love it. And then, of course, one little detail in The Thing, all their Arctic corridors have these like wood plank lanes that the people walk through. Yes. And of course, you have those exact same things down here in Empire Strikes Back in their corridors. So they kind of have a similar interior look.
Yes.
And then here's a picture of the base, up there, they're doing research and checking things out. And you kind of, and even in this scene, Han has his hands on his hips, even just like this guy does, while they're studying things. So there is a commonality in the base from The Thing as the rebel base for Star Wars. Nice. And then, of course, we get into the War of the Worlds. And there's a lot of things that are almost shot for shot, just like in the Battle of Hoth. Obviously, here you see the U.S. military looking at the approach of these monstrous machines. Yes. And we even get the obligatory shot through the binoculars.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, in both movies as they zoom in and assess the danger from afar. And then, of course, I mean, some of these are almost like shot for shot. Here's two of the advancing war machines from War of the Worlds and the other from Hoth. And, of course, you get sort of the attack on both of them.
Yes.
And both feature the military in trenches. The U.S. military in War of the Worlds has this sort of trench that they're hiding behind as the machines advance. And, of course, Lucas took that exact same idea for the Battle of Hoth.
Yeah. Cool. Wonderful.
And this was a shot for shot. I couldn't believe it. They actually show the close-ups of each of these weapons opening fire on from War of the Worlds, and then the laser. Right? Isn't that cool?
Yes, this is great research here.
Well, and wonderful. You can see that Lucas, it's called an homage. When a filmmaker loves something from the past and wants to bring something of that story or movie or show that they love, and they do an homage. And I think some of these scenes are homages to War of the Worlds.
I think so too. I mean, look, I think when you're just seeing this for the first time, you have no idea. But now that you've told me, I can't unsee it.
To me, it's a good thing. I can appreciate the Battle of Hoth for what it is, and also from whence it came.
And that is movie appreciation, right? Is to see how we are all linked together in this sort of like one movie breaks the barrier for, like, say, special effects or visuals, and then another movie will bounce off of those ideas and create something brand new, and create completely different storyline. And this works in Star Wars in a way that incorporates those two movies, and it just blossoms into something incredible. I would say that's one of the best scenes in that movie.
Totally. And I'm a guy who likes archetypes, which means you're looking at the outer appearance of nearly identical archetypal constructions. So, the arrival of the Air Force to combat these unstoppable war machines looks totally different. The expression in each story is totally different. And yet it's the same thing underneath. And that's why it works, because the archetypal design is the same. And what Lucas was trying to capture was the idea, and this is why War of the Worlds is so compelling and why the Battle of Hoth is so compelling, the slow advance of an unstoppable, technologically superior force. And there's a terror there. From the Heroine's Labyrinth perspective, this is home as battleground, the invasion of home space, you know, where we're supposed to be safe, and we can't stop these things. And the other thing that, if you think about it, that adds to the horror, both of these expressions of this archetype, the unstoppable giant destroyer, is that they both have heads. They shoot deadly rays from their heads. And what's scary about that is that these heads look around for you on the battlefield and start shooting at you. And there's something, I think there's a primal fear about that, you know, searching head.
Yes.
For you.
The Terminator, too, is another great example.
Totally.
Yeah.
And they're both based on animals. The War of the Worlds was based on the cobra head. And they actually modeled the walkers, the Imperial walkers, off of elephants. They studied the way elephants walk to get their thing.
So great.
Also, like in War of the Worlds, both the behemoth, the advancing terror, is indestructible. Luke down here, I put the subtitles on for this. That armor's too strong for blasters, right?
Yeah.
And when the U.S. military opens fire on the war machines, they have these sort of impenetrable bubbles that neutralizes their weapons as well.
Yeah.
And then, of course, just this idea, I mean, you could, you know, just the idea of this, the wholesale destruction of the unstoppable force as it gets closer and closer, no matter where you flee to, it continues to advance. You know, this is the straight on shot. And again, that the heads moving around looking for you is terrifying.
Oh, God, yeah.
You know, here's one, you know, I think one of the best shots in the film is all batteries open fire. You know, they're all firing at once. They're all looking in different directions, and there's no way to stop these things.
Oh, so good.
And this is one of my favorite scenes in the Battle of Hoth. You know, I actually cut it off, but you could see a foggy haze down here, and then there's the retreat of the rebel forces right in front of them. It's a horrifying single image.
Yeah, they're decimating the place.
Yes. Both military forces are forced into an immediate retreat. The U.S. forces retreat on the unstoppable advance of the war machines. And of course, the rebels famously retreat in the Battle of Hoth. You know, begin retreat. So anyway, that was the some of the side-by-sides I thought I would share.
Wow, this is wonderful. Thank you so much, Doug. That was just wonderful, wonderful introduction to the movie for anyone who hasn't seen it before. And for us, the people who have seen it before, we remember those scenes and we know exactly what he's talking about. And we probably have seen, you know, Empire Strikes Back so many times. I can't tell you how many times I've watched that movie. And yeah, those scenes are truly epic. I don't think I would want to live in a world where there isn't an Empire Strikes Back, and definitely need the Hoth scene because it's one of the most amazing battle scenes captured on cinema. So I thank you for explaining all that to us.
All right.
Yes. Oh my goodness.
That
That was just perfect. I was like, we have to see this video because that was for the watch party for War of the Worlds. And I think that was the first watch party you joined us for, Doug. And you came, yeah. And you came with notes. I was like, oh my goodness.
Yeah, I was glad you gave me a chance to get all that out because it's special. It's special to see a new it's good. It's special to see an old creative idea mixed with another old creative idea take on this new form and work. And the Battle of Hoth does that.
Yeah, it really does. It really does. So, yeah, Just Joe, hi there. Thanks for joining us. Says on the War of the Worlds, the 1953 DVD special features. Back then, they wanted to do tripods, but didn't have the special effects to pull it off. Yeah, didn't not not ready for it just yet. But I think they did a fantastic job with what they had, and
Oh
they
yeah.
definitely brought something very unique. And I think in both Empire Strikes Back and in War of the Worlds, those machines are just insane the way they're just like tearing the place apart.
Yeah.
And I mean, these are the good guys. We are rooting for them. Okay, we want them to succeed, but to see how the empire like it is so much stronger than they are is kind of exciting, exhilarating, and I don't know what to explain the rush that you feel at looking at this and seeing this, but it's just one of those things where you're like, oh man, they're how are they going to get out of this one?
Yeah, and what's crazy is if you think about it, in A New Hope, the Empire loses the Death Star. So
Yes.
what's amazing to me is in Empire Strikes Back, the Empire comes across so much more competent, so much more formidable with less.
Yes.
Look at, we have the Super Star Destroyer, the Imperial fleet by itself becomes
Yeah.
a formidable, scary, thing in space. You get the Imperial walkers coming in. So, he really and we saw TIE bombers introduced in this movie. So somehow he shrank it down a little bit from Death Star size to these smaller pieces, and up close, those smaller
Ooh.
pieces are even more scary.
Yeah, yeah. I love it so much. All right, so let's get it. Oh my goodness. I didn't see him walk in the room, but he's here. We got Thrash Pondo Ponds in the house. There you are. Hello. So good to see you. It
No.
says I also thought Hoth was a nod to the Eastern Front, World War II. Fun fact: Star Wars term Kessel Run was the German nickname for the Stalingrad airlift.
Airlift.
Ooh, interesting.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh,
I didn't know that. I know about the
Oh,
neither did
thank you
Berlin
I.
so much.
airlift. I didn't know about the Stalingrad one.
Oh, wow. All
And
right.
Rick
And so,
Manelis just came in. How you doing, Rick?
oh, hey, Rick, how are you? So good to see you. And so did Sean Franklin. How are you doing? So good to see you guys. Uh, and let's see if I could, let's get closer to the actual watch partying part. We got, just want to explain the movie just if there's anyone who doesn't know what this is. Empire Strikes Back, also known as Episode 5, Empire Strikes Back, is an American epic space opera film directed by Irvin Kershner, which a lot of people think it was George Lucas who directed this film, but Irvin, I believe, was his teacher, and back in the day when he was in school, and came in and I think did a fantastic job directing
Absolutely.
this with all of George Lucas's ideas, and of course George Lucas was very big part of creating everything to do with this particular film. So he does not take a back seat, but he just couldn't do everything. I think he decided on this particular film he wanted to delegate some of the duties. The screenplay is by Lee Brackett and Lawrence Kasdan. We also have returning to the role of Darth Vader. We have David Prowse doing the physical work, and we have the legendary, the legendary. Oh my god, my brain is like just blanked out. The legend. Who's doing the voice?
James
Somebody.
Earl Jones.
Thank you.
Mhm.
James Earl Jones, my brain just said beep. Somebody pulled the plug. Somebody
I'm used
pulled
to
the
that.
plug. Yes. And then we have Mark Hamill, Harrison Ford, Carrie Fisher, Billy D. Williams, Anthony Daniels, Kenny Baker, Peter Mayhew, and Frank Oz. And this was Frank Oz's introduction into Star Wars, doing the voice and the puppetry for Yoda. And this was very, very good stuff, guys. Then we have, let's see, I think that explains the movie pretty well. And you have to excuse me, my
Well, I was going to
allergies
say too,
are
this is a
going
film that
insane.
introduces Boba Fett. The bounty hunters are all introduced in this movie, and
Mhm.
it's weird because every little bounty hunter, no disintegrations. That whole scene,
Yes, I
everybody
love it.
loves those guys. People
Yes.
freak out. They're like, oh, that's that guy. That's that guy. And there's entire spin-off stories with just each of those bounty hunters. Those show up in this. We get Admiral Piet introduced in this movie, and of course, the
Yeah.
ill-fated Admiral Ozzel.
Yes, and
Um,
we also get the introduction of the physical representation of the emperor.
oh, yeah, that's right.
Yes, because
Um,
we didn't quite get him in the first movie. He was talked about, but he wasn't. We didn't see him. But this one, we get a glimpse of him.
And we also get Lando Calrissian, who I think his stock just keeps going up over the years.
I know,
His
yes.
contribution, it's so funny. Luke
Mhm.
Skywalker's famous feat is that he blows up the Death Star in A New Hope. But who blows up the second Death Star? It's Lando.
Yeah,
Lando gets the
Lando.
Death Star in Return of the
Mhm.
Jedi. So, I wish we had a sequel trilogy that gave Lando a high position in the New Republic and gave him a lot more, because he would have been one of the big dogs of this New Republic, and we kind of missed out on that, I think.
I think so too. And I almost feel like we're missing like a whole like chapter of like what happened in between, the sequel and Return of the Jedi, because something just seems like there's a lot of missing tissue.
Yeah,
Um,
it's missing.
and so
Well,
Something's missing.
that's why you go and you read the novels that came out between those two movies. Yeah, that's
oh
something
yeah.
that I ran into, because it was just like, well, what's between the two, or after Return of the Jedi, what happens?
Mhm.
That's when those really cool EU novels come in handy.
Yes, and there's some great
Oh,
ones too. Shadow of the Empire was one of my favorites.
oh
Um,
really?
yeah, they
Okay.
had some. I read all the Timothy Zahn books right when they came out.
Those
I
were
just
perfect. Yeah.
Yes, I just clawed through those. I couldn't get enough.
Hmm.
And it was a satisfying story. I felt like Luke, and I felt like all those storylines were great. Lando was front and center in it. And I'll just on Lando again. He also has one of the best introductions.
Oh
This
yeah.
guy, he comes in, he's like, no, I
I was
don't
like,
trust this guy. So all of us are like, well, who is he? And he comes in, he's like, you slimy, no good. And you're like, and then he's joking around, and you're like,
yeah.
you're joking around about
Yeah.
that? What the heck?
And he's got a cape too.
I
Yeah,
know
he's
he's
got
got a cape.
That's good stuff.
I mean, it's like it just came off the 70s, right? Like right out, you gotta have that sweet, cape. And then I always love his when he meets Princess Leia, he's like, well, what
Hello,
have
what
we
have we here?
Yeah.
I always love that. And
The
Lieutenant
old
Colonel
smoothie.
says, I met and talked with Kenny Baker when I worked as a volunteer at a sci-fi convention. I complimented him
Nice.
on his work in Time Bandits.
I
Oh,
love Time Bandits. Such a
Hmm.
weird, bizarre movie. I love it.
oh yeah. Let's see. Um, and Just Joe says that Lando had a good redemption. Yes, he did.
Totally.
And you definitely felt like he didn't mean for things to get out of hand as it did. And Charles Radcliffe says, we get introduced to the Tauntauns.
Yes.
and
Hmm.
And how to sleep in one.
Yeah.
ew. And Joseph McKay says, R.I.P. Carrie Fisher, David Prowse, Peter Mayhew, Kenny Baker, Alex Guinness, Jeremy
Jeremy Bullock hits
Jeremy
Boba Fett.
Bullock. Jason Wingreen, John Hollis, and Jack Purvis. And
Thanks for that,
also,
Joseph Begay.
yes, and also James Earl Jones.
Yeah,
One
James
of
Earl
the
Jones
most
needs to be on that
recent,
list.
yeah, one of the more recent. And let's see. And the Restaurant opponent says, I always wondered about what happened to the people of Bespin after our heroes take off. Oh, they probably, yeah, I think they're probably fine. They were just after the rebels. Let's see. Okay, so let's begin the process. Okay, so let's begin the watch party.
Let's get to that galaxy.
Let's get to the galaxy far, far away, and let's see. I'm gonna get things started with a little our watch party teaser. Here we go.
Come on, it's party time. Hear the alarms chime. Let's watch a movie. It's time to get groovy. It's time to party, party, party. We got to party, party, party. It's time to party, party, party. Party, party, party all night all night long.
Oh my God,
Party
that
time.
yeah, that video always
Love
makes me
that.
smile. Thank you.
And Keithy wants to remind you to put the banner up.
Thank you so much, Keithy. My goodness, let's get that banner up.
Mhm.
Here we go. There we go. It's official now. We really have
Got
started.
the dance going.
And thank you so much, guys. And man says got the popcorn. So the Sonic earlier, and they brought us a duplicate order. So I got popcorn. Yes.
Very cool.
Oh man, how was it, Uzi? And let's get going. And Sherry Lee says, I really enjoy this intro. So thank you very much. All right, so let's do this. How it works is that we have our copies that we're going to be watching, and you have your copy, hopefully. If there are many places to find this digitally, and if you have Disney Plus, you're good. And hopefully have a copy of your own. We're hoping. If you do, this is great. We can watch this together. I have a timer that is going to help us keep track of the time, but I also will have a visual aid that will allow us to be able to see the movie where we are in the movie. So that means maybe we will you'll be able to also see the closed captioning as well, so you can also read to see where we're at. So I like to match up the closed captioning. That seems to work.
Yep.
So let's get this going. Let me just see where my video
So funny
is.
that this 20th Century Fox opening, I associated it from childhood with Star Wars and Empire. So if I ever watched another movie that had this, I always felt like it didn't belong there. I was like, what's 20th Century Fox doing on this movie? It don't belong there.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Let's see. Okay, so my timer is here.
Okay.
All right, so guys, I hope you're all keyed up because we're ready to launch this. And let's see. I will be counting from 5 to 1, and after I say 1, that's when we'll hit play. All right, so 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, play. And it's going to take me a few moments to catch up with you guys. Let me just
No
organize.
THX. Remember how they'd play that and you'd hear the THX sound system?
Oh yeah.
Oh, yes.
Oh, that was freaking awesome.
That's right. That was like the VHS era, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, here we go. The opening. You know, what's funny too is the opening scrolls are great in all three films. And I knew something was off in the prequels in 1999. As I was reading the scrolls, it was so underwhelming. It was like they go to be settling a trade dispute and everything. I was like, ooh, really? I was like, okay. I was like, let's do that then. Yeah. But I will say the opening scroll to Revenge of the Sith. I think that's what I actually wish he started with Sith. You know,
that was cool.
so good. The remote ice world. So, you know, and also this idea of, I think, an Arctic setting for a sci-fi film. Isn't that kind of an original plan too, or idea?
Yeah, I mean, where you have like the desert planet, we got like the ice planet, we got later on we have the fire planet, the volcano planet.
Mhm.
The forest moon of Endor.
Yes.
Well, but also I heard that in terms of doing green screens, and actually they started with blue screens, but then it
Yes.
became green
Mhm.
screens.
Mm-hmm.
The problem was that there was this black line that would be around
Yes.
the whatever they filmed. And so filming anything on a green screen on a white background was a huge risk because you'd be completely revealing that black line. So he had to try to solve that with the Battle of Hoth.
Mm.
Yeah. And there are some scenes where you can see that they weren't able to do it so well, but then they've digitally cleaned it up though over the years.
They have cleaned it up.
Yeah.
And it's funny because you don't think about it, but his choice to open with a Star Destroyer pretty much established what became a Star Wars film
Yes.
tradition
Mhm.
to
Yes.
open your film with a Star Destroyer.
Yeah.
I love the design of this probe droid.
Yeah, it's scary, almost it's like mechanical and
Insectoid.
yeah, almost
Yes,
medical.
it's very ominous. You can tell it's definitely not a friendly type of droid,
Yeah.
It
especially
isn't
how
friendly,
it
whatever it
shows
is.
up,
Yeah.
And
and
here's the
still, you know, a missed opportunity for merch. You should have been able to buy a tauntaun where you could open it up and the guts would spill out.
Ah, yes, that would have been really cool.
Lorena, have you seen someone is selling a sleeping bag that has a tauntaun at the top, and you can open up the sleeping bag and you can get into it?
No!
Yeah.
That is cool.
If you Google it, you'll put Tauntaun sleeping bag and you'll see it. And I
Oh
thought about
my
it. I was like,
Oh
God.
my
that is
gosh, I'm looking at
absolutely
it right
ridiculous.
now. Tauntaun sleeping bag.
I guess the idea for these things were like small dinosaurs, but mammalian, like mammal-like dinosaurs.
Yeah.
They always had those horns. I always wondered what it would look like if two male tauntauns
Oh
were
my
competing.
gosh.
What would that look like?
This is
Yeah.
so freaking funny. I need it.
Oh, you see it, Lorena?
I need it so bad.
Oh man. It
Put
sounds
that
like
on my
super,
couch.
yeah.
There's our intro to Han Solo.
Yeah, he's still hanging out with the rebel
He's
people.
still there, right? Yep.
Rebel.
So he's
Yeah.
hanging out with these guys. And, you know, all of us are getting our bearings here. We're like, okay, there's the X-Wings. There's the Falcon. I guess they're in this ice cave. You know, like,
Yeah.
what happened to these
Mhm.
guys? They just,
Yeah.
last time I saw them, they were getting a medal. They blew up the Death Star. Things were looking up.
Yeah. They're hiding out from the Empire and
Yeah.
repairing their goods and
One
getting
of the
themselves
things
ready
you
for
know,
the next.
that is actually good at oh my gosh, what is that thing called? Galaxy's Edge is when
Hmm.
Chewie comes out and he acts like he's working on, he's working on a Falcon.
Mm.
People just like lose it. It's just like it's just so cool,
That is, yeah,
Not
that
so
is
much when
cool.
Rey shows up, but
Oh,
when
God.
Chewie shows up, got it silly.
Yeah, that is cool. And I like that. I like the fact that they're keeping it in world with him doing repairs and stuff. That's
Yeah, and this
Mhm.
actor here, he actually is British, and they dubbed him over with an American accent because Lucas wanted the rebels to have American accents, and he wanted the Empire to have the British.
that
Ah.
makes sense.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're a great fighter, Solo. I hate to lose you. So they had to add that on top.
Mhm.
She's pissed.
Yeah. How
Yeah,
dare you leave me, but I can't let you know that I don't want you to leave.
yeah.
And he
And I
just
was
walked
so mad that
away.
she lost the buns. I thought she was so hot in A New Hope.
Oh, with the buns, yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, in general, I mean, Carrie Fisher's a beautiful woman, but
Oh, yeah.
the buns were so distinctive. I was surprised as a kid, as a 4-year-old. I was like, oh, what happened to the hair things?
Yeah. Well,
Mhm.
this might have been something to sell new toys. You
It
know.
was.
Yeah.
Lucas
Let's
was
give
good at
her
giving
different
everything
look.
new looks.
Yeah.
I love this rebel who intervenes.
Why you following me?
What's so funny is Han is right about her
Yeah.
here,
Yeah.
but she's just not giving into it at all.
Yeah.
She doesn't like being called out.
Yeah.
No. It's like I'm not gonna let you get over on me with that. No,
But-
no, no.
But he did walk away and say bye, and she chased after him.
Yeah, I know.
Well,
Yeah. So there's
that's
something
the
going
guy
on
move.
there.
The guy move is you can't. You have to act like you don't care,
Yeah.
and this works.
Yeah, turn it up. I don't talk to her.
Oh, and this is funny too because, and this is Irving Kershner's idea. I heard him in an interview talking about this. Irving Kershner is known for having these little like prank style jokes. Covering
Oh, yeah.
up 3PO's mouth would not keep him quiet because
Yeah.
it's a speaker.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
So he's anthropomorphizing him by pretending he's human because, you know, if we cover our mouth, we can't talk. But it wouldn't
Yeah.
work on 3PO, but he treated it like it would anyway. So
Yeah. I love that touch.
yeah, those little touches.
Yeah.
I love the dialogue where they're just like, I don't know where he is. And then 3PO is like, nobody knows where he is.
Yeah.
And it's
Deck
just like, what do you
officer.
mean nobody knows?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was
I just
his.
like that exchange.
Yeah.
Well,
And
it
I
creates a
think
little
that
bit
tells.
of tension.
Yeah, and this is what brings Han Solo from I'm getting the heck out of here to like,
Mhm.
okay, I gotta find my friend. It's like Luke. There's a connection between him and Luke, maybe, and I wish maybe they had gone through it. What is it exactly about them? They had gone through the battle together in the last movie,
Yep.
but
Yeah, there's
there's
kind of a
something else.
bonding.
Yeah, there's something else that's going on there that he's kind of soft on that and that
Well,
kid, he calls him.
Well, I think it's kind of
Mhm.
the brotherly thing, you know, like Han's the big brother. He was the warrior of A New Hope. Luke was the teenager speed racer. He wasn't.
Yeah.
Han was the guy that could get the job done on the Death Star. He's the guy you want. You want to
Yeah.
follow that guy. Luke,
Yeah.
not so
Right.
much in A New Hope, right?
Yeah.
But Luke's the one that ends up rising to the occasion and blowing up the Death Star. So I think they're showing you here from a storytelling standpoint, Luke has earned Han's respect.
Han's respect,
The big manly guy from the last film.
Mhm.
Now he's going to risk his life to go get Luke if Luke is in any kind of trouble. So Luke's earned that that respect. And poor
Yeah.
Luke, this is the second time he's hanging upside down in this film.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. If I was reading the script, I'd
this
be like, do we have to do it this way? And a lot of this is
This-
added footage now.
Yeah, it looks great.
And, you know, this is the introduction of a force power that was not introduced in A New Hope, by the way.
Yeah. Yeah. So good.
Yes. And what's interesting, might as well talk about it now. How many times have we tried to move something with our mind? I remember
every
as a
day.
kid, just trying so hard. I was like, come on, it's gotta work.
Yeah, every single day. Could you just move the needle a little?
Just a smidge. If that salt shaker moves, then I know.
and that's why that Super Bowl commercial for Volkswagen was
Yes.
so darn funny.
Yes. Oh
Yes.
my God. Thank you for bringing that up. That was genius.
It was perfect.
So here's the
Oh,
introduction
God.
of R2. We haven't seen him yet.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, R2 is like a Swiss Army knife, right?
Yes.
He's just got these
Yeah.
little things that pop out and help out and, you know, do something.
Mm-hmm.
And this is why I believe he was not on Cloud City for this one, because he would just get him out of the trouble
Oh,
Very-
true.
very
Interesting.
easily. Yeah. Very
and-
easily.
You know, it's funny. I'm an Eagle Scout, by the way. And so I've had to take wilderness survival classes and all this stuff. And I always hated after Luke slices off that Wampa's arm, he leaves that cave. I was like, man, that's the safest place on Hoth is that
Yeah.
cave.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because you don't want to be up on the surface.
And I'm not sure if he didn't want to finish off, like he didn't want to kill the thing.
I don't know. I think I would.
I would have probably too.
Yeah, I
Like-
would have.
I got
Yeah,
a
like,
slicey
hopefully you're
slicey
not an
thing
endangered
here.
species. And Retro Koj is in the house. And so is Mark D with a C.
Oh my God.
Hey guys.
Yep.
Good to see you guys. Oh my goodness. Just to let you guys know that I don't have a way of seeing this here on my screen, but I do have an auxiliary computer over here for me to see it. And I know Mark T with a C did teach me how to do it here, but I'm having some issues with my internet, and so I have to be very careful on this computer that's streaming with me. So it's a long story.
This scene, all we have to hear is Chewie, and you see her
Yes.
face.
Yes,
and then you hear
yes.
Yeah, a howl. Because I mean, that's what they're suggesting is that's it for Luke and Han. Once
Yeah.
we close those doors, they are not
Mhm.
expected to survive out there. So
Yeah.
Mm,
And for her, it's like
Yeah.
it's another disappointment, you know.
It's quite clever, you know, for a human. And you just, oh man.
Oh, Chewy.
yeah, and that's childlike.
Yeah.
You know, he's whimpering. And so
Yeah.
it just
Mhm.
it pulls on the heartstrings.
Yeah.
Yeah, Koj said Chewie's emotions is how I felt. I understood him. So yeah, Chewie's standing in for all of us there.
Yeah.
So well said. So well said. And Charles says that Luke and Han were the heart and soul of this rebellion. Oh.
I agree with that. And I think we talked about this last week. Leia was the fire of the rebellion. She really is the fire of the rebellion. And I do think Luke and Han become the heart. And
Yeah.
I've even read analyses of this that Han is the warrior. So he's the heart, he's the soul or the heart of the rebellion. And they say that Luke's journey is really more of a spiritual journey. So he would be the soul of the rebellion.
Yes. Actually, absolutely agree with all of that.
Yeah. And I got to do a quick shout out. Keith E and Mark D with a C. Also, Eagle Scouts. I see you guys.
Sweet.
Thumbs up. That's awesome.
Oh, nice.
A scout is always prepared.
That is so cool.
Yeah. In fact, to become an Eagle Scout, these guys will back me up on this. One of the things you have to do is you have to create a shelter and sleep in it overnight, or at least that's what I had to do. So I had to create a shelter out in the woods and sleep in it overnight. And Let me tell you, they make it look easy in the movies. Pure pitch blackness in the night is extremely scary.
Wow.
And the bugs and the little critters and all the sounds,
Oh,
you
man.
are on edge every second that you're out alone in the woods like that. So not as
Yeah.
easy as you think.
Yeah, and it's really dark out there, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's actually really the key is fall asleep so that you can just wake up and it's over. You don't want to be awake.
Let this be over.
Yeah, and by the way, I since we're on Hoth, there was a huge storm in Chicago one year, and I made this huge pile of snow in the backyard. I hollowed it out, and I put a hose over the top, or I sprayed it down with water so it would freeze. And I
Yeah.
slept in that overnight one time. So I slept in my own homemade igloo one night.
Oh, wow.
Huh.
Yeah, that is how that if you if ice can sometimes just be the most perfect little home for your
Yeah,
to
once you're
contain.
inside, it's actually warm. Your
Yeah.
body heat and everything, it's not that bad.
Yeah.
That was actually easier than sleeping out in the woods.
Ooh.
And this is Rogue 2, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if we had a sequel to Rogue One, it would be about Javi, the rise of Javi.
Ah.
This guy was pretty likable, right? As a side character.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Rogue 2.
I actually
Okay.
thought from a filmmaking standpoint,
I
they really should have shown him. They never really showed a good shot of him seeing them by looking down. They should have showed Han and Luke through Javi's window.
Oh, okay.
I always miss that.
Yeah.
There's the back to tank.
The back to tank.
Yes.
Apparently Boba Fett's favorite thing. Just saying.
Yeah. And Obi-Wan.
Well, and Vader, right? Anakin, doesn't he spend a lot of time in those back to tanks?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's funny is one of the additions that I thought was so unnecessary was he adds oh, Master Luke, it's so good to see you fully functional again. And then they added, thanks, 3PO. In the special edition, I was like,
Really?
why did they bother adding that?
Because well, and I think story-wise though, Luke has always treated the droids like people.
Mm-hmm.
Because like even in the last one, he was he showed some respect to C-3PO. I mean, not a great deal, but he did. There was a warmth he gave him. Like,
I see. And these are like memes now all over.
I loved it.
Yeah, Han was pushing it there by really.
Yeah.
She's like, okay.
Okay. Well, we didn't see Return of the Jedi yet. Okay, so we had no idea.
I mean, obviously they were
still
setting these
makes
guys up
me-
to be competitors.
Yeah. It's still queasy. It makes me queasy. It's like, oh
Again,
God.
Chewie's inflections, the way he does it,
Yeah.
you just know it's
Laughing?
like, yeah,
He's
he's
like-
giving you a bunch of crap right there.
Yeah. So true.
Laugh it
I
up.
love
fuzzball.
this scene right here. I love this scene, even though it's like sort of an exposition, but it's just like the stuff this is what you would imagine if you were in a battle. You'd need this kind of a place and have this
A
kind
nerve
of a
center.
conversation. Yeah, nerve center.
Yeah, it isn't friendly, whatever it is. Come on, Chewie.
Let's go check it
Send
out.
rogues. Huh.
They found them.
Yeah, that's the shield generator. And I'll point out, we discussed this. I think, Lorena, you and I, did me and you talk about this? No, I talked about this on Heath's channel, things that destabilize stories. And I was talking about one thing that can ruin battle sequences is no sense of tactical understanding of a battlefield. And the Battle of Hoth is actually tactically sound. It makes a lot of sense how Lucas set it up. And as a result, the action is all meaningful and all compelling because
Yes.
each character on that battlefield is attempting to do something specific. General Veers has, his goal, and Luke and Han and the rogues, they're trying to do something, and the transport. Here it is. The Imperial Fleet and Darth Vader and the Imperial March.
Yes.
You ever hear this performed live?
Yes.
Oh my gosh, it is so darn haunting.
So Lorena, about a month ago, I took my youngest son to the Austin Symphony Orchestra. We watched this movie live, but they had the soundtrack muted, and a live symphony orchestra played the entire soundtrack for 2 hours. And of course, when this started, when this ended, everyone gave them a standing ovation, even though the movie was still playing.
They did this. They did that in Philadelphia too. So they had the Philadelphia Symphony Orchestra play while we watched the movies. But as soon as folks heard this, they were just like flipping out.
It's
so good.
One of the greatest pieces of music ever written. We have thousands of probe droids. There's always the guy who gets it wrong, right?
Yeah.
And by the way, I made a note of this one a long time ago, that Vader's presence is highlighted by the way other characters react to him. So seeing those guys watch him walk by like little field mouse as a predator walks by.
Yes.
I've always noted that how other characters react can really strengthen another character's presence.
Yes.
That's it.
Yeah. You
like, you little snot.
Yeah, dude, you made me look like an idiot.
It's like, wow.
Now, I don't know if you guys know, but in Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, you remember that famous scene where Indiana Jones, he's in disguise and he runs right into Hitler and Hitler gives him the autograph? That's Admiral Ozzel. Admiral Ozzel plays that character. Plays Hitler.
Wow.
Yeah. Chewie again, standing in for us. And that's right. Dadman Walken mentions that General Veers plays Donovan in Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade as well.
Oh, wow.
So General Veers and Admiral Ozzel are both in Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade.
Oh, wow. Really cool.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thanks so much, Deadman Walking 55. So cool.
And I always love that this was given a little bit of levity or gravity in the film. This is the last time Han and Luke see each other until Return of the Jedi. That's it, right there.
Yeah.
That's a warrior's, a bond.
Yeah, I love that. I love how they're like down for each other, like to help each other at any turn.
Totally. And it builds and builds and builds in all three movies, and it's so satisfying.
Yeah. And we
so here's Hoth
played that up.
That Superstar Destroyer is badass. And so remember in A New Hope? Yeah, in A New Hope, when he's like, if this is a counselor ship, where is the ambassador?
Yes.
That was the Darth Vader like moment. So he's going to get a moment, and this is his moment in Empire.
Yes.
I love when he turns around here. He's like, okay, who blew it?
Yeah.
Dude, like if you make a mistake, don't try to act cool about it. Like Vader's turning around.
Like, no,
everything's fine. Admiral Ozzel.
I love it, man.
And we're prepared to.
Yep. Dude, don't choke a fall on me.
He doesn't even have to be in the room. I love it.
No.
It's like, thank you, Lord Vader. I'm glad it's not me.
And yet again, reminds me when I was working in IT. Now I know why Darth Vader did a lot of the things that he did. So I'm just all I'm gonna say. That's a whole
Darth
trope.
Lorena.
Yep, failed me for the last time.
For decades, My dad has used that line on me. You know, you have failed me for the last time. So he's always said that to me. So like my dad has literally assumed the persona of Darth Vader in my mind. You know, and it's what's interesting too is to this day, you know,
Oh, this
my
scene.
dad and I,
Ooh.
we would call each other, you know, hey dad, you know, how you doing? We would always
Mhm.
answer the phone as, you know, what is thy bidding? Or
Right.
you know, we just always do a Darth, always.
Yes,
That's just,
yes.
and then when
So
James
fun.
Earl Jones passed, it's like we retired it. It's like, all right, we have to retire it. James Earl Jones isn't here, you know. So we retired that greeting to each other. I love that, this ion cannon. I
Yeah,
love it. It's like the rebels have these just little bitty somethings that give them something.
yeah. And a couple of
And I
their
love that
ships
they
were able
cheer.
to just pass through, and they're like, "Yeah, we can make it."
I don't know why. I absolutely love the announcement. The first transport is away, and everyone's like, "Yeah!" I love that. I don't know what the
Yeah,
heck that is. It gives me a thrill every time that Rebels, you know, scored a field goal here against an
yeah.
unbeatable team, and you know,
Oh, this part,
And then the Empire brings out their special teams.
I love it.
oh
And they're
boy,
just in the distance, walking slowly.
these things have etched themselves into my psyche as the epitome of terror. Um,
Oh,
Yes.
these
wow.
elephantine, mechanical, walking things that lasers glance off of. They
Mhm.
just cement. My favorite toy as a boy was the AT-AT.
Oh, I
It took,
freaking love this.
yeah.
And at
So good.
the Studios Park at Disney, they have one that's right outside of Star Tours. It's to scale. And it is the
Wow.
it is so freaky standing under that, and it's got, like, score marks, you know, blaster marks under the
Oh,
bottom. It's like, "Wow, this is even
Did you
cooler
ever
up
fire
close."
your grappling hook, Lorena, and get up there and
I felt like doing that. I had the urge to
oh,
do that.
just toss a soda or something in there?
Yeah, Imma throw something in there. Or go around and, you know, put the grappling hook around the legs.
Ooh,
But from a special effects standpoint, this was when I saw this, I was just like, "How did they do this?"
how? Yeah, like that is cool.
Every
But
shot
yeah,
is beautiful and
yeah,
perfect, and I love it.
yeah,
And also the idea of a two-seater, right? Luke's not alone. He's got a
yeah,
pilot with him, and
Right.
yeah. A different ship, a different style
Mhm.
ship here.
yeah, and
So
snow
they're
speeders.
2
I love the snow speeders.
And
Mhm.
I loved Captain Nita, how cool and collected he was. I was like,
Mhm.
"Dad, I love him. He's like a little mini Darth Vader." If he only had the Force.
Oh wait, that's General Veers. General
Oh,
Veers is
General
in the
Veers.
AT-AT.
Oh,
Mhm.
General
Yeah,
Veers.
Captain
Yes, that's
Nita's the
right.
Yeah.
one who.
Oh, he's gonna get.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
Captain
yeah,
Nita's later.
yeah, 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 yeah. That's the
Wait
one who
till he
just got a
pulls down the
promotion.
targeting device. I'm like, "Dang, they're really gonna do this."
Yeah, yeah. I mean, the rebels stand no chance.
Yeah,
These are great shots, you know, and
yes,
it's different because it's not so three-dimensional for
yeah,
dogfighting. It's like
yeah,
mostly near the ground, so it gives it a
Mhm.
different feel, a different
yeah, yeah,
vibe.
Yeah, totally.
yeah.
Watch that crossfire, boys.
Here we go.
Uh, this
I
is
love that the
great
rebels.
ingenuity here. That
Yeah, this
they're
is
Yeah,
like,
they have
let's
answer.
try this. Let's try
some
this weird
guerrilla
thing.
warfare going on that they have to do.
Yeah,
And it's kind of a blue collar solution, right? This, you know, it's
yeah,
a tow cable. It's
yeah,
not a
Yeah,
military weapon, and they improvise this solution, and it's a good one.
yeah,
and that was the meme, folks.
yeah, yeah. Oh my God, they opened that thing up like like a pinata. It's so funny because when that explosion happened, they're like, you get this like, oh my God, there's hope in
Yeah.
all of this. You're like, they're not gonna all die, maybe not.
And that's kind of what gives the Empire makes it even more formidable in my point. You can hit them, you could dent them, you could take out one of their walkers, but it's not enough. And that is its own form of scary.
Yeah. Yeah, and
You
this is
just can't
where
do enough damage compared to what they could do to you.
Right.
yeah, and I love the fact that they're separating C3PO from R2D2. So
Yep.
they set that up.
Yep.
It
I
only
love
took a
these
few
scenes.
seconds. Oh yeah, they're
Because
getting creamed.
3PO's attitude is that R2 can't do anything without him.
yeah. R2. And
Yeah, if I had a wish list again, I really want to see the stormtroopers deploying from the AT-ATs and then rushing across the snowfield into the base. I would there's a few scenes, there's a few scenes I feel like would have, like you call it connective tissue retro.
Yes.
There's just a little few scenes I have in my secret wish list on this.
Yeah.
And I guess we should also mention the brilliant score here by John Williams.
Oh yeah.
The Battle of Hoth is like 8 minutes, or it's a long score on the album, and I love it. It has so much energy, so much conflict in the music. And when you hit play, all of this plays in your head when you listen to the music.
Wow, yes, so good.
It's like, I forgot this, I gotta grab it.
I'm like, ooh, get out
Almost
of there.
got stepped on,
I always felt bad for Dak here.
Yeah, he may have just been unconscious at that point. Yeah.
It's very Godzilla-like,
Yeah,
rush.
Like they're literally.
Why are you still here? She's such a bee about it.
It's like, yeah, I love you too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, dude, they're in like a survival situation, and she's like throwing barbs at them.
I love the announcement gets
cut
off.
That's always scary to me.
Troops have entered the base.
He says it twice, and he gets cut. He goes to stat. He's like, Imperial troops.
Yeah.
So it's like, that guy's position just got overrun.
Yeah, he's
and
gone.
This, I love it. This is I love the dread that I feel here. The close-ups and my favorite shot.
Woo!
Is that one? I don't know if you guys are timed up, but
it's a three. Another hillbilly solution here.
Yeah. That lightsaber to the rescue.
Ryan, they were talking about the sticky bombs where they just like use their socks and put the bomb in the socks and stuck it on the tanks.
Oh,
yep.
Kind of like the same concept here.
Yeah, they did it in Rogue One, didn't they?
Wow.
Did they? I fell asleep.
I think
on
they
Rogue
did.
One.
What's that?
I fell asleep on Rogue
you fell
One.
asleep?
Yeah, I did. I'm sorry. I keep trying to watch it. I fall asleep.
The second half, I think, is excellent. The first half
is hard to watch.
Slow.
Yeah.
There are some parts I like.
Yeah.
That was a great shot that the AT-AT kind of pulls off this like maneuver shot.
Whoa! They got the generators. The shield is down.
Boom.
They can infiltrate the rebel base.
And what's funny, you mentioned it, Retro, the cool-headedness of General Veers. If you think about his dialogue, he basically assumes he's got this. He's like, "You may start your landing." What that means is, I haven't knocked out the generator yet, but you're fine. Come on down.
Yeah. It's like, we got this. This is a routine. How many times? Yeah, and how many times has he done this? Okay, how many times has he done this?
I'll score the touchdown in about 3 plays. Don't even sweat it. Come on. And what a gamble. You're telling Vader to come on down before you've done your job.
Oh. Yeah, you could get choked out for messing up that.
By the way, this is a similar entrance here as Vader in A New Hope,
Hope, yeah.
where the stormtroopers bust in and then he just comes in gating, in a gate, without any weapon in his hands. He's just
Yeah.
strolling through.
As
I actually thought in Revenge of the Sith, when Anakin Skywalker attacks the Jedi Temple, there's that scene of him at the head of all the clone troopers. What they should have done is had the clone troopers storm in and have Anakin enter without his lightsaber drawn, just like this in the Jedi Temple. I thought that would have been a good mix. Yeah, and here we go. Han Solo is hamstrung. Leia's so snappy with him. And I love that. He punches it and it turns on like old school.
I love that little gun that they managed to get rid of a couple of nasty little pesks.
Yeah, I heard that's a Kirshner idea, that his thing is these little gimmicks that make the rebels more endearing.
Yeah.
He knocks a couple of those guys out. Punch it.
I guess the Millennium Falcon was too far away for Vader to just do his thing
Yeah.
that he did in
everyone I
Obi-Wan.
know wanted to see Vader reach out and stop the Falcon there.
Yeah, that would have been sick, actually.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Are we caught in a tractor beam? I don't know what it is.
It's Darth Vader.
Again, and I keep bringing this up, when you are on Star Tours at Disney World, and when they go to that scene where you're trying to leave, you're trying to take off, and Darth Vader stops you, and he's using the Force to keep you from taking off. It is one of the coolest freaking things. Yeah,
that's cool.
They don't use it as much as they used to.
Lorena, do you remember the old Star Tours? Where you have the ice, particles in space, and the droid was actually Pee Wee Herman's voice.
Yep,
remember
I remember that.
That was the best. I love that.
Yeah, they've got him working in the bar now as a DJ.
Oh, really?
I kid you not. Seriously, it's over there. He's playing dubstep and whatnot.
That's great. Oh, wow.
C-3PO is just in the way. My goodness.
Yeah. Totally. Oh, and again, notes. I took notes on these things. One of the things that makes Han's work is his physicality. So you're a pilot. I've seen pilots. They're usually still, they push buttons, they look up. Han is he's grabbing stuff. He's he's very physical piloting this thing. And I think that makes it work. Watch this.
Watch this.
He was trying to
broke my heart. Oh my gosh, this broke my heart.
And I love this because the hyperdrive in the last movie was the thing that got them out of trouble more than once. So I was like, okay, the hyperdrive. And it was working fine. This movie is that hyperdrive is not working. You don't get to save, to save yourself.
Vulnerability. Make your characters vulnerable. And now we're like, oh no. Chewie. That wasn't a laser blast. Something hit us. Chewie, set 271. This must have been incredible to film asteroid by asteroid.
Yeah.
Love these shots are incredible. I mean, for 1980, come on.
Yeah.
This is amazing to sit in a theater.
Yeah.
And feel like you're going through this asteroid field that you're just going to get blown up in no time.
And they show you the danger of it too, with sacrificing one of the two of the enemy ships.
But it proves just how good of a pilot Han Solo is.
Yes.
Thank you, Lorena.
Yes. Yes.
You know, we don't hear about it, we see it.
Yeah.
Han does it. He navigates an asteroid field, and Lucas spent the time to film it and sell it. This is what it looks like to try to fly through an asteroid field.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, Vader takes a freaking Star Destroyer into an asteroid field and just starts shooting at the. I mean, you get both personalities in this little chase.
Yeah.
Yep.
Asteroids do not concern me. I
Oh
want
yeah.
I mean, it's true. Like you like asteroid field. We got a little thing called like laser blast. Let's like take care of that right now.
Like, yep, that's the turn you make.
Yeah, and also I think this was the first time this made me rethink asteroids. Asteroids are always these rocks in space, and here we're getting really close up, and they're like planet-like, and they have caves and canyons, and I just thought it was great. It's an experience.
Yeah.
This is going
That's
to
one
rank
thing that
up
I
there
think the
with
sequel-
it seemed like a good idea at the time.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Just saying, keep watching.
I feel like this is what Lucas did excellently, that even in the prequels, Lucas delivered experiences in combat experiences. What's it like to deal up close with an AT-AT? It's right there. Or a trench run. You got to go, there's certain limit, there's rules and limits and a physicality and tangible world that you're navigating. I feel like that's what was missing in the sequel trilogies, that experience. It was just action and it lacked that tangible quality.
Yeah.
And they brought us along. It's like we were spectating, but it's like we were riding shotgun.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah.
Riding shotgun.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. In these movies, you're in the driver's seat. You're like, oh my God.
Yeah. This is what it's like to be in this world.
Yeah, so we've met our heroes.
Love it.
They're chased away by the Empire and are hiding on a ice planet. They get their butts kicked by the Empire. Luke gets beat up by a Wampa. Han's hyperdrive doesn't work. Luke just crashed. Not going too good.
Face looks really bad. This is like, I don't know, the worst swamp you'd ever want to think of.
Oh, I just want to say hi
Luke
to
gets shot
Sergeant
down by
Giratana.
the AT-ATs.
Hi, Sergeant Giratana.
Hi, Emily. How you doing?
Oh, Emily Kruger's here? And Moonbeam as well.
Bazaar.
Oh, hi, guys.
What's up, Moonbeam?
Sorry, I should have been looking out.
Old Man Bird is also here. Oh, so cool. It says they had to film the space scenes several times on the same. Oh.
You know what? It's a shame, but I laughed for like 5 minutes after seeing what we're about to see in a little bit.
Oh yeah. Yeah, he says they shot it several times on the same piece of film using masking. There wasn't any CGI. Yeah.
Correct. Yeah, those asteroids were filmed individually and reassembled. It was unbelievable.
I know. Some of them were like potatoes.
But it worked, right?
Whoever thought of that?
It worked, yeah.
Yeah, and R2 goes down. Now, one of the things they changed in the special editions that I thought was where there's a line that Luke used to say that they took out. He said, "You're lucky you didn't taste very good." For whatever reason,
I remember that.
Oh, it's not.
Remember?
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, they took it out.
Like, okay.
Yeah, the heroes are really not doing well, man.
Like poor R2.
Seeing, R2 get thrown up,
Yeah.
He always gets himself in these little situations.
Yeah.
Yeah, they changed it to "you were lucky to get out of there." That's the new line. I don't know why. Why bother?
I don't see the difference.
R2's not looking good either.
No, because if he tasted good, he would have stayed down there. Makes sense.
It made sense to it made sense to me. Oh boy, here we go.
There's the Imperial fleet with the superstar. That superstar destroyer is badass.
Mhm.
Yeah, isn't it?
I have to say, one of my only regrets in Return of the Jedi is that I wish the superstar destroyer was defeated in a better way. But whatever. That's nitpicky. Here's our one glimpse of his humanity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it looks terrible.
It
Yeah,
Like,
does.
it's
what
not
is
good.
that? Is that like vanilla pudding? What is it?
Hermetically sealed helmet on
Yes.
there, you know.
Yeah.
That's right. Do not
Like, I need some
concern
What do you
fresh air.
want?
Take this helmet off.
You concern me, Admiral.
I want that ship, not excuses.
You better get your craziest pilot you got.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love it that Vader's strategy is to take this giant ship into this asteroid field and then just put all the pressure on your gunners to shoot every asteroid as they come in.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's
Yeah.
insane.
That's what I mean. That's basically training them for a bigger fight.
Well, but it makes you fear Vader even more that he's willing to come after you.
Yeah.
He's coming.
Yeah. I mean, the Empire is on their game in this movie. Like,
Yes.
you know,
And that was my thing about heroines in some of these modern films. Give us competent villains.
yeah.
If
That's
she can
important.
beat a competent villain, she's better. If you give us these moronic villains, then who cares if she beats them? They're obviously easy to defeat. Who couldn't beat those guys? But
Yeah.
you beat Vader in Empire Strikes Back. Good luck. And by the way, no one did. Not in this movie.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
I love that Luke has this fishing pole. I always got a kick out of that.
I know.
Can you
like,
picture Luke
what
fishing
are you-
something out of the swamp? And
Yeah. Got a little backup generator.
And
Like that.
I read a long time ago, Yoda's face design was based in part off of Einstein.
Really?
Yeah, his
Huh.
facial, like the eyes were based on Albert Einstein's eyes.
Interesting.
And there's
yeah.
someone else. Let me see if I could find it.
I think it was
there
the
was-
guy who sculpted him also used his face as well.
Okay.
I just like how he was introduced. Yoda did not turn out to be what I thought he was going
Yeah.
to look like, and that was actually a good thing.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, and by the way, the trickster is an archetypal personality. So he's playing the trickster here, and it's a disguise.
Yeah.
Yoda, and so the reason they used Einstein's eyes was they wanted him to be silly because Einstein was known to be kind of a humorous guy,
Yeah.
but also when you needed it, he had to look wise. He had to look both comical and wise, which was actually a difficult face.
Yeah.
So that was the thinking behind it.
Wisdom
amazing
and
really is-
whimsy.
Yeah. And for puppetry, this is
This
is
is
aged
amazing.
incredibly well.
Yeah. Yeah. This is an amazing work.
This is I want to say peak Henson Creature Shop. And then,
Oh,
of course, okay,
yeah?
Frank Oz,
Totally.
all right. He did have Yoda Santa like Grover because he still had to kind of work the voice out
Yeah.
a little bit. That's one of the things that you notice. It's like in Return of the Jedi, he sounds a lot less like Grover.
Oh yeah.
Oh, look at his little tushy. He's so
All his stuff. Tried to eat
Oh.
his food and was like, "This is nasty."
Yeah.
Throwing stuff out.
My favorite is when Luke takes something. He's like, "Oh!" He gets mad that Luke took it away from him, and then R2 tries to back up at Luke by stealing this thing.
Yeah, you're right, Mark. Puppet Yoda definitely rules over CGI Yoda. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
why
and-
I'm glad for The Mandalorian that Baby Yoda is an actual puppet, not a CGI.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and you know what else? It blew me away in 1999 when I sat in the theaters for the Phantom Menace, and I saw Puppet Yoda, and he was not even close to this level of skill. I couldn't believe my eyes. I
Yeah.
was like, did they lose the art of puppetry or something?
Yeah, also they
Possibly.
redesigned him as well, which it was
Mhm,
it was slightly
mhm.
off-putting in a way, and I'm not sure what it
Yeah.
was about the model that didn't work, but yeah, they
I
did
also I
something to him.
also think wasn't that was post, I wanna say post Jim Henson's death, so he wasn't really in
Oh.
charge of the
Yeah.
Henson Creature Shop like he was.
Well,
Mhm.
it just goes to show where wisdom and competency in an art form comes from. If you start to lose that, you lose the magic. So they actually went back into the Phantom Menace and created CGI Yoda, which was an improvement over the 1999 puppet Yoda.
Yeah.
But I
Mhm.
agree with everybody that this is the Yoda. This is Yoda.
There's
Also,
a
look,
certain emotion that comes into part, which is one of the great things about puppetry, to be able to convey that emotion in real time,
yes.
and CGI doesn't
Eh,
really do that.
yeah, they're getting better. Oh, and we'll have to see what they do, but yeah, puppetry is just like it's a whole nother level.
It
What
is.
I wanted to say though is that C3PO shows his worth by being able to identify and speak with the computer and identify
Mhm.
what the problem was there. Even
Yeah.
without R2, and he did say, "Oh, where's R2 when you need
Mhm. You find out later he likes for R2 to do the dangerous stuff, like,
Yeah.
Hey, R2, why don't
playing that
you get in the
game.
back
Is
of
it
the
a
next one?
power outlet or is it a terminal? You figure it out first.
Yeah, I mean, R2's the one in the back of the X-Wing getting shot at.
Yes.
Yeah.
I will say in Phantom Menace, I love that scene where all the astro droids go out onto the hull and are trying to repair the ship on the outside. That was a cool
Mhm.
scene. That was
Oh.
R2's intro,
Oh, yeah,
actually.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
This was written so well. I freaking love this.
Yes.
And okay, so
So
I was
good.
talking to Retro. Some of Han's dialogue is extremely similar to Rhett Butler's dialogue in the book Gone with the Wind. And my
Really?
theory is that Han Solo is based on Rhett Butler. He's a smuggler. They're both smugglers, and they have amazing dialogue, similar dialogue in this movie and in the book. I think he says something like,
Wow.
you need more scoundrels in your life. And I'm like, that's what Han says.
Yeah.
So you see that guy that just disappeared?
Yeah.
So for years, we had this on regular television before widescreen came out. And so in the 80s and through the 90s, when I'd watch this, you would only see those two guys. So you'd see the asteroid hit the head of the Star Destroyer, and then it would just cut to those two guys. When Letterbox came out, and I saw that the hologram guy disappeared, I was like, "That's so cool!" I was like, "How could you cut that?"
Yeah.
he was on the bridge that just got blown up.
Emperor's calling. We got to get out of this asteroid
Yeah.
thing. But that was the thing yet again, you see, well, this is when we first met the Emperor. You see exactly how much power the Emperor has. If he can control Vader to drop what he's doing,
Yeah.
just like, who
Yeah.
is this guy?
Well, and Vader,
Yeah.
he's dropped to a knee. I mean, that's
Yeah.
total subservience.
Mhm.
And I will say, for all the changes that I don't like, I am really happy they went back and added Ian McDermott here.
Yes.
This ties it up, and they even adjusted the dialogue a little bit. And when I was watching this with my kids, I was
Yeah.
so happy that they got to see the same guy in all
Yeah.
the films
Yeah.
instead of the other actor, which I think it was actually a female. It was
Yeah,
an
it was an
actress who
actress.
played.
Yeah. Yeah. It was an actress. I think all of the changes in this movie feel more appropriate than the other
Agreed.
ones. And so
Yes.
I think I'm in full approval of this one.
Yeah. Especially Cloud City. Unbelievable changes there.
Mhm.
Oh yeah.
The
Oh yeah.
young rebel.
He tried.
Yeah.
He
And,
so
and
tried. As slick as he did this. Like, we could turn first, it's like, no, he's not really a threat. Then okay, maybe we can turn him.
Well, what's
Well,
interesting, if you if you understand the rule of two in the Sith, what he's
yes.
basically telling the Emperor is, let's bring in a third party, and one of the three of us won't make it. And he's like,
pretty
challenge
much.
accepted. Go get
Yeah.
Luke.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
right? It's either going
Yeah.
to be the Emperor and Luke, the Emperor and Vader, or Luke and the Emperor. It's going to
Yeah.
be one of those two. It's not going to be all three of them, though.
But Vader has a secret plan.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Vader wanted to. He says you could destroy the Emperor. You know,
Mhm.
join me. That's why he pitched him. Because
Yeah.
in the
he's
rule
got
of
that pitch.
two, when you're suggesting to bring a third party in, you're saying that one of us is getting voted off the island, and the Emperor's
Yeah.
like, interesting. He's like, all right, go ahead. Let's
Yeah.
see how this plays out, bro.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Vader's ploy is, let's knock off the Emperor. And let's you and me do it, man. I mean, from Vader's point, that is such a great offer, right?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I keep hearing Super Grover. I love it though, you know?
This is quite a transition. This is
Yes.
where, for puppetry,
Yes.
Yoda is acting. This is
Yes.
acting. This is incredible.
Yeah. So
And that's
he
why you
turned.
have someone like Frank Oz, who's
Yes.
like a legend in puppetry,
Ah.
to do this.
Yeah.
Because another part of puppetry, it's not just puppetry, but it's also the acting that you have to do, and to be able to put together that physical
Totally.
response to, something emotional to bring out. It's
Yeah.
perfect. You're right.
Yeah. I mean, think about it. It's 2025. I'm watching Yoda right now. I do not see a puppet.
Yeah.
I do not see a puppet.
The
I see Yoda,
character.
the Jedi Master, who has
Yeah.
the most knowledge in the room, who Obi-Wan is appealing to and getting voted down by this guy. It's like, who is this guy? This guy is serious.
Yeah.
I love this dialogue. And he taps him with his cane as he looked
Mhm.
away to the horizon.
Yes.
Never his mind on where he was.
Where he was. Poke him too. You doing
Yeah.
what he was doing.
What's funny is, in that moment, I'm Luke, because I feel like, how many teachers talk to me like this? Hey, Doug, pay attention. I'm like, oh, what? So
What?
so I'm totally Luke in this moment.
Yeah.
Will he finish what he begins?
Mm-hmm.
I won't fail you. And this is actually kind of a creepy end of this scene, this line that Yoda delivers.
Oh yeah.
You will be. I love that. It's like,
I'm not afraid.
shit.
Yoda's like, oh, you ain't afraid.
Yeah.
You will be. It looks like, wait, what?
His face.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if they could give an Academy Award to something that's not alive, it would have to be Yoda.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's the TIE Bombers introduction, right?
Mhm. He's dropping stuff on us here.
Yeah.
I remember for years, I always thought those were like seismic, like sonar type of bombs.
Mhm. What's out here? You know when you should stay put, but you just gotta check it out.
I love Han too, kind of being rude. I'm really not interested in your opinion, 3PO.
Yeah. Even though he just like had valuable information earlier.
Han's totally, not cool with 3PO.
Yeah.
Come on, Goldenrod. This was one where the improved quality of the film and footage actually weakened the scene just a little bit. You could see the plastic on the ground here. And it's pretty unmistakable. It looks like garbage bags or something.
Oh, really? I didn't. The garbage bags.
Yeah.
Hey, that's what you gotta do.
They put some hefties.
Mm-hmm.
It's a Minoc.
A bad feeling about this.
Yeah, what I thought. Chewing on the power cables.
Yeah. That.
Minoc. Leia's not into this at all.
You go do that. Well, think about that every time Professor X tries to chew on a cable. I'm just like,
Yeah. Yeah, honest figuring.
And then what?
Yeah.
I was like, the hell?
What the heck?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, right, which doesn't make sense. So if you're watching this for the first time,
Yeah.
you know, and you shoot the cave and the cave moves, it doesn't make any sense. So I love that Lucas always had a card up his sleeve with these scenes.
I loved how they pulled this off because my jaw just dropped when I found out what it was. I'm like,
yeah.
Totally. The cave is collapsing. Sit down, sweetheart. We're taking off.
Yeah. Ranks right up there with That's No Moon.
Yes.
Yes. It's the repeat, actually.
Yeah.
Line.
This is no cave.
I say it.
That thing's called a space slug.
What? What?
Yeah, space slug is what they call it.
Just hanging out in an asteroid.
So, you know, what's interesting, and I've never really written this anywhere else or anything like that, but the Force is an intuitive power, right?
Yes.
It's intuitive. It's based on feeling and all this stuff. And this kind of masculinizes the Force a little bit. You know, Yoda's teaching him like as if it's an obstacle course. I always thought this was a little awkward. This is not how I would imagine training for the Force. Doing backflips and climbing up ropes like military style training. So it works. It totally works. But I always thought this was a little odd for how to train Luke as a Jedi. You know, like athletic training, you know.
Yeah. I think as an introduction to the Force, he was, even though it's very physical, he is training his mind to think a certain way.
Well, there is.
And so,
yeah, there is. You can learn a lot about yourself in physical training like this. One of my friends is a Navy SEAL, and you know, you find out who you separate the men from the boys in some of these physical challenges. So there's certainly wisdom behind it. It's just interesting to me that they went with that route, like a military physical athletic route in train. Like when Ben trains Luke in A New Hope, you know, he puts the blast shield down, you know, and he has to use his God, you know, he has to use intuition. When Luke uses the Force at the end to blow up the Death Star, he turns off the targeting computer. It's intuition. Yeah. So this was a new look for what the Force, how you would train a Jedi. I just thought that was interesting.
Yeah.
I was always upset in the prequels when you were in the Jedi Temple, you didn't see like, you know, Jedi's going up ropes and stuff, you know.
Yes, to train the mind and the body.
Yeah.
And one thing too was that it kind of showed Luke in a different light, that he was growing up, because we had seen him before as a, you know, scrawny little boy, and he takes off his shirt and he's got like muscles and stuff. I was like, "Ooh, look, what's going on here?" And then he's doing flips, and he's so it brought him to like a physical hero status too, which is kind of like it's kind of necessary for this kind of thing, because we know he could handle the physical stuff. We can, you know.
Right. Well, this is a little bit more. So what's interesting is A New Hope is the hero's journey light. The training sequence was just with a remote probe droid for maybe a minute in the film. The wise guide was Obi-Wan. He was pretty clear. But when you start to stretch out Star Wars over 3 films, the more masculinized warrior's hero's journey can be seen in Empire and Return of the Jedi. And you get some of that here. This is more of a warrior training, less of a spiritual guide training. so he is getting, so the hero in the hero's journey learns to master weaponry, competency, and that's what he's doing here. So this is much more of the more serious warrior, hunter warrior hero's journey. And this was great too.
So cool. I was like, oh man, how did he get there?
I've noticed something in the original trilogy. I don't know if this means something or not, but whoever swings their lightsaber first always loses.
Yeah.
For whatever reason. And that's true here too. This is the only time Vader strikes first, and this is the one time he loses. Even though it's a, Dream Vader.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this allegory of the cave was like,
yep,
really threw me.
Yeah.
So this would be more of like a chamber guardian, in my opinion.
Uh-huh.
An inner chamber and a chamber guardian.
Mm-hmm.
And Luke fails the test. There's always a social test in these, and Luke fails.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And this is great because you hear that all about Vader. It could happen to you, buddy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which none of us think, right? None of us think we could turn to the dark side all the way.
Yeah.
But they're saying right here, you might. It's possible.
And
that's why Yoda is so forlorn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's not ready to, to be a Jedi yet.
It's an important message.
Yeah. The line between being a Jedi and being a Sith is just a very thin line that even the best of you could fail.
Well, and Anakin's the best of the best of them, and he fails. Anakin does go to the dark side. So what chance you think you got? You're just Luke. You're not like Anakin.
Yeah.
Oh,
I love
boss,
these guys.
here we go, the bounty hunters.
Yeah, right?
Disintegration.
No disintegrations.
As you wish.
See, this indicates that Vader and Boba Fett have a standing relationship.
Yeah. One of a bit of respect, a little, but still, he's like, you.
Well, you get an idea that they had a deal in the past, and Boba Fett's like, I got him. I disintegrated him.
Yeah.
You what? And you want me to pay you based on that?
Oh, just your because the sinking.
I love Leia's disappointment here. Us guys know that look.
Yeah. Ooh.
When you're like, hey, I got it, and the chick's like, no, you don't have it.
I thought this scene was so brilliant.
This was so crazy.
Yeah, very ingenuity here. The ingenuity that he is displaying is just incredible.
Well, and again,
they're in attack position.
Again, Lucas shows you something actually clever. You, the writer, have to come up with a clever plan here in order to make this scene work. If you're just saying, oh, he's a great pilot, he got away, that's nothing. This shows it. There's Captain Nita.
Yeah, that's Captain Nita.
I love that this guy with the white hair doesn't say a word. He's like, I'm going to tell Vader it's my fault. The guy's like,
yeah, you do that.
Good luck. Doesn't say a word.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, okay.
The last guy did that.
Nice seeing you.
It's like Lucius Fox in the Batman movie where it's like, and your plan is to blackmail this person? Good luck.
Yeah.
I thought this was really incredible. I was like, oh, so you can levitate things too.
Yeah, this is cool. This is a little bit more what I would expect from Force Jedi training.
Yeah.
The ship, the plane.
Yeah.
And he's so clued into like R2.
Well, but it shows he can be distracted from the focus.
Yeah.
Yes.
That was my problem doing homework all the time.
Oh man, me too.
I was like, there's this other thing going on.
Why do this instead?
Yoda's so disappointed in Luke. Leia's just did that to Leia's
Yeah.
disappointed in
Disappointed in you.
Yeah.
Yoda's disappointed in Luke.
No different. I love this example that they give because it's
Ooh.
like they tell us a little bit, but then they show us the rest. They tell us just enough
Yeah.
when Yoda talks about, when he talks about the Force and like, judge me by my size, do you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, totally. And again, the writer has to deliver, right? You're going to create a wise mentor. You got to deliver. Yoda has to say something that me, the viewer, me, the audience member goes, huh, okay. He
Yeah.
seems wise to me. So when
Yeah.
Yoda's like, do or do not, there is no try. What he's saying is either commit to the task or don't, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I can use that. I can use that in the real world. So that is delivering on your
I love
wise
it.
mentor.
I love it. Yeah. So
And
good.
shows exactly how powerful Yoda is. Because it's like you hear, he's this, wise Jedi master, trained Jedi for like what? 500 years? I'm sorry. Don't
900
yank my
years.
pass if I got this wrong. Wow was off.
Yeah.
No,
He
I
was.
think 800
He's
years. he said.
800 years in this one. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he's done
Yeah.
this for so long and they tell us, but we're just like, yeah, really, yeah. Then it's like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they needed to show us
Yeah.
exactly how powerful he is without breaking a darn sweat. It's kind of like in the
Yeah.
Matrix where Morpheus,
Yeah.
he's hardly moving at all and he's
You
blocking
think that's
every
air you're
single
breathing?
move.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, and here, this dialogue is pretty much the core dialogue in the original trilogy for what the
Yes.
Force is.
Yes.
Luminous beings are we, not this
Yeah.
crude matter, not the physical material stuff.
Yeah.
And
And
the
Obi-Wan
Force
tried to
binds the
explain it in
galaxy.
the first one. He tried to explain it, and he did well, but this is much more in depth.
Right. So Lucas is delivering. We want to know a little bit more about the Force. So here it
Mhm.
is. Yoda's going to tell us a little bit more about the Force, and he gives us something.
Yeah.
And I always got a kick
Okay.
out of that scene where Luke drops next to Yoda. And he's like, oh, couldn't do it. It's too big. And he's out of breath.
Yeah.
Because we all know that's not how the Force works, right? So
Mm-mm.
you
Yeah.
could get Yoda being like, you're out of breath. Okay.
Oh, Dad Man's asking what's the time mark.
Oh, the time mark.
I've got 1:12:09.
Yeah, I hope you can see this.
And counting.
Just with him lifting his hand and you're just like, no, that can't be happening.
Yeah, this was great. So
Yeah.
again, as a writer, you're selling your characters in every scene.
Yes.
So you're not just relying on the fact. So already we're sold that Yoda is pretty. I'm already convinced on Yoda, and then he
Yes.
pulls this out of his back pocket, and we're all like, "Whoa.
Wow. How
He's
beast.
piloting an X-wing
The
with his mind."
music. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh.
Yeah, and John Williams
Yeah.
is up to the task.
Yeah. And he hasn't been using the Force a whole lot. So this is,
Correct.
this is him on his like C game.
Mm-hmm.
And again, the acting for Yoda when he kind of opens his eyes and he's like,
Yeah, he's
"Get
still
it now?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then this is great dialogue. I don't believe it.
Yeah.
That is why
Is your
you
problem.
fail.
Yeah, that is why you fail.
Yep.
So good.
You don't believe in what we're doing here, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no, Captain Nita.
Captain Nita.
No.
Another one bites the dust, y'all.
Apology accepted.
Did you
Love
capture
it.
the Falcon? Well, here's the thing. This isn't going to go well.
Mm-hmm.
Look at the spin that he does here. I love it. Woo!
Yeah.
I love it.
Clean
You
them
do
up.
your thing.
Clean up crew.
I love David Prowse's physical acting
Yes.
in this. It's just so confident and so he looks like almost like he's having fun doing it.
Totally. Vader's physicality has my appreciation for the body actor. Like James Earl Jones, instant respect, right? There's nothing
Yeah.
missing from Vader.
Yes.
You hear it, you react to it. But over the years, I've really started to appreciate David Prowse's contribution to Darth Vader.
Oh yeah.
The physicality in his acting.
Oh, yeah.
You know, the aiming a finger. That's very aggressive when you aim a finger at
Oh,
somebody.
yeah.
And
And then the
so,
the spin just now was like,
Yes.
oh wow. And then he's got
Yeah.
that walk. It's like got the spring to it. Like I know where I'm going.
yeah, he's decisive. I know where, I know
Yeah.
my every step. I know where I'm headed.
Yeah. And I thought this was so brilliant when I saw that the ship was still attached to the Death Star. I was like, what? This is brilliant.
I love this. Leia was just like, yeah, shut him. Yeah, shut up. Can't. Even I'm tired of him.
And Han's like, thank you. So again, the writer delivers. He came up, he did actually conceive of a clever plan for Han to outsmart the Death Star or the Star Destroyer.
Mhm.
And then of course there's one more card to play. He
Yes.
actually conceived of a bounty hunter ferreting this plan out
Yeah.
with Boba Fett. So
Yeah.
to me,
Yeah.
that's what cements Boba Fett. He doesn't
Yeah.
just look cool. He's not just the silent, assassin type.
Yeah.
He also outsmarted Han. So,
Well,
again,
I mean, and they could have played this up was that he must have had, some knowledge of what Han was able to do. Perhaps this is an old move that Han has done in the past. And they could have played that up in other, iterations, but I love that.
well, they did
It
play
would
it up
make
in
sense.
Attack of the Clones. In Attack
Oh,
of
yeah?
the Clones, Obi-Wan Kenobi does this
Yeah.
to Boba Fett's dad when he
Okay.
hides on the back of the asteroid.
Okay.
Mhm.
Nice. Yeah.
So it's been suggested that that's how Boba Fett knew about this move
Yeah.
was Obi.
Oh, wait. Doug, I think
Yeah, you froze for a little bit.
if you repeat what you just said.
Oh, can you hear
Oh.
me?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was just saying that it was suggested that Boba Fett knew what Han was doing because he saw Obi-Wan Kenobi do this move in Attack of the Clones to his dad, to Jango Fett. Because remember, little Boba was sitting there and Obi-Wan goes through they fire a missile at Obi-Wan and then he hides on the back of an asteroid.
Mhm.
So that's how Boba Fett figured out that could be a move. That could be a way to evade somebody.
Plus, I'm also thinking that since Boba Fett, of course, Han Solo was his bounty from Jabba the Hutt.
Yeah.
Jabba probably told him, yeah, he's pretty sneaky. He did this
Yeah.
other thing. You might want to pay attention to him. And he probably
Yeah.
heard, yeah, he
Han
does this
Mabugi.
weird stuff. Yeah. But that's a good point that you make about Attack of the Clones. Probably a combination of both.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think a combination would be the best answer. Because you do get a sense that it's not just the move, that it's Han Solo's tactical maneuvers,
Mhm.
Yeah. Is one of his tricks that he's
Right.
maybe done many, many times before.
Yeah, Han Solo's personality, when I mapped it out in the Briggs-Meyer system, is what
Ooh.
I call a tactical maverick, which is someone who does something that intuitively that ends up being super intelligent, but the character is not known for intelligence. But they do something intuitively that's equally smart.
Yeah.
It's a high-powered, intuitive warrior type, and Han Solo fits that bill.
Well, I think in every case you see him improvising.
Right.
He's like really good at improvising. So
Tactical
when things,
maverick, right? He's
when
an
something happens,
improvisational genius as a warrior.
yeah.
I don't have a landing permit.
Yeah, you're immediately in this bureaucratic world now, right?
Yeah.
Permits. This is Star Wars. Oh, Retro, you have a super chat.
Got a super chat, my dear.
Oh wow! Thank you so much, Skywalker the Jedi. How are you? I just DM'd you earlier today. How are you doing? Says much love, RNG. Stopping through to show you some love and wish you all the best in 2025. Oh yes, Happy New Year, 100%. Oh, you're so kind. Thank you so much. And let's see. Oh my goodness. Sean Ennis is here. Hello, Sean Ennis. So good to see you. Oh, by the way, Skywalker, double back. If you're not here to stay, but double back, I will give you a thank you video later on after
And
we're all done.
Skywalker
And
the Jedi.
also, yes,
Yes.
he also gifted a retro membership that is going to Ages Flow. So thank you so
Mm.
much, Skywalker. That is just really sweet of you to gift that membership. And memberships for Ages, it lasts 30 days. So we'll hope that you will enjoy the membership in the next 30 days. Oh, Sean already signed it. I'm just noticing it now. Okay, sorry about that. Good to see you, Sean Ennis. It's been a while. And Dan Grissom is also here.
And right on time, guys. You came into the chat right when we're introducing one of the greatest scoundrels of all time, Lando Calrissian. not just a scoundrel turned hero, just like Han.
Yes.
Why you slimy
45.
I love that. He's like me.
I love Billy D. Williams' portrayal of this character. I mean, Lando's one of the best. I mean, he goes to assault him.
Yeah.
And it's like, you're joking about that? I mean, you brought security guards out just for show.
Yeah.
You saw that, right? Lobot turns and sends it. He's like, all right, the joke's over. You guys can go back.
Yeah, you can go back now.
Yeah.
And then this is cool. We find out through, we can infer that the Lando used to be the owner of the Millennium Falcon. That's cool.
I love the way he greets Leia, and she's like,
dude,
okay.
Lando is like laser focused on Leia too. He's so good about it.
He gives her like a sweet little kiss on the hand.
And Han's like, okay.
She's with me.
You old smoothie, back off. That's like, hey, back off.
Yeah.
Hyperdrive.
Yeah.
It's interesting too. I just realized too, the fake out intro for Lando is a great way to introduce a character that has a duplicity in his motivations. He's really, the more I watch this, the more I realize that Lando's really torn. He's not just betraying Han. He really didn't have much of a choice. Just like he says, I had no choice. What would you do? The Empire shows up and like, I'll take over this base. All you got to do is give us Han.
Yeah.
And what are you going to do?
Yeah.
Tell Vader to shove off.
Yeah, and it shows. I love the way they start to show you exactly how C-3PO is like fascinated by this place, and he's just lagging back just a little bit and gets himself into some trouble.
Hello. He's just so like clueless here.
Yeah.
Who are you? And I love how that other C-3PO comes out and is like, Ichuka, which go screw yourself. It's like, something really rude.
Oh my God. Oh, and Kimberly Ann Hart is here. Hello, Kimberly.
Oh, what's up, Kimberly? Good to see you.
Kimberly.
I think this is this is an incredible scene because it's the first time we really see Obi-Wan Kenobi again since A New Hope. So there's instant pleasure in that, right? Instant familiarity. So you're getting both wise guides here.
Yeah.
You will be tempted by the dark side of the Force. God, and how many of us have been here? Two teachers are telling you not to do it, and you're like, I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
I can pull it up. Alec Guinness. I love that he was in all three.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
And they didn't decide to like replace him. His scenes, because they've done that to other actors again. Well,
yeah. Well, and there's one of the toughest lines he's like, and sacrifice Han and Leia, let them die, basically. And Yoda goes, yes. And he says it definitively. He's not like,
Yes.
well, he's like, yeah, you let them die. This is their crusade. This is their cause. This is their fight. If you honor what that cause is, if you honor what they fight for, then that might happen to them. That's the path.
Yeah.
And Luke is like, I can't do that. So that's not level 1's writing. That's up there. That's strong mentor mentee exchange right here. And and then it's followed up with, R2 fire up the engines, and you hear the engines come on. It's like, and then Ben gives them this plea and last minute wisdom. Now they're just giving him like last minute advice.
They're like, okay, he's going, so let's just like, throw the bucket at him. Like, here's the last little thing.
And it says here in Ecclesiastics, do not give in to hate. It says here, just anything they could throw at him, any proverb.
Yeah. And when Yoda said there is another, I was like, ooh, who could it be? Oh my God. And I didn't, I just thought that was somebody somewhere out there in the galaxy, which I really like the idea of.
Now, these are great added scenes.
Yeah,
they really
great.
show off Cloud City.
Cloud City, yeah. This was a fantastic addition.
Yes. I always thought Leia looked so cute in this. Like when I was a kid, I was just so attracted.
She was adorable. So Leia she feels something's wrong.
Yes.
And that's part of her, gift, and maybe it's force related, but she does have a way of summing up people right away. And she already does not like, she doesn't trust Lando. So she's picking up all that stuff.
Heroines, I found this to be remarkable and very consistent. This would be a cult of deception, right, Retro?
Yes.
Heroines have an uncanny ability to spot facades. It's so consistent in stories throughout time. And so Leia sensing something's off is absolutely consistent with heroic women in fiction.
Yeah. I also do believe that that's part of her force abilities, if you will.
Right. Because they do talk about it in the
women,
books.
Yes, they tend to be able to size people up pretty quick.
Yeah.
Better than heroic male figures in a lot of cases. The heroic female will, eyeball someone and be like, I don't like this guy. I don't know why. I can't explain it. I just don't like him. And I don't care if I can justify it or not. And a lot of times they're proven right.
Yeah.
She senses something's up with Lando.
Yeah.
He's hiding something.
Yeah.
And of course, Hans, the male figure, who cares? Don't worry about it. And then Lando makes pass number 2 here.
And that's the second time that Han is like, okay, she's with me.
I love Han's a-hole answer here. Having problem with your droid? No, everything's fine. Obviously, just look at him. He's perfect.
Oh, this is like one of the most mind-blowing moments, though, for me in the story. Just such a wonderful, wonderful moment.
This is a good character scene for Lando. It's kind of giving you some exposition. He's an administrator. He's in a kind of city government role.
Yes.
He's responsible. He has people depend on him. And then he turns over Han.
Yeah.
I love Han's instincts here.
Oh, I love this.
Yeah.
This shocked me in the theater.
Yeah,
I was like, what?
He could stop laser blast with his hands and just pull the weapon right out of his hand. And I love the way Harrison Ford does this extra little thing with his fingers, like, oh, I can't believe I had a grasp on it and now I don't.
Yeah, great point. That's a great point.
Yeah,
those little details.
Little tiny little acting detail there to give us that impression. It's really great.
And that's a scene with a lot of star power in one room. You've got Boba Fett. I gotcha. You got Vader, who just blocked laser bolts and is like, sit down.
Mhm.
And then you've got Han Solo, who's just been duped, and we got to see him shoot from the hip, right? Leia's
Yeah.
there. Lando does the double cross. Every character is like living up to their character in this scene. It's beautiful.
Oh, poor Chewbacca.
Yeah, it's like a dog whistle or something they're annoying
Yeah.
him with. That's so rude. And Keith E brings up a great point.
Oh,
Please click like if you are watching this, folks. This is Empire Strikes Back, one of the greatest films of all time. It's on most everyone's top 10 or top 5 or top 3 or top 1 list. Click like. If you haven't already, subscribe to Retro Nerd Girl's channel. And if you're watching from X, please click the heart and repost.
Thank you so much, Doug. That's really sweet of you, and thank you, Keith E, for remembering to do that, because I often forget. So you guys are taking such good care of me.
And thank you to Dan Grissom, who pointed out that scene
Ooh.
was one of the rare scenes that have 2 capes in one space.
Ooh.
I hear Edna Mode from The Incredibles. No capes.
This was so unique when I saw this. What's happening?
They're torturing him.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this is good stuff. You're seeing the Empire do what the Empire does. You know, they're not like said to be bad guys. They're torturing Han. They're living up to their reputation here, right? This is great stuff. I love all this dialogue.
Yes.
You may take Captain Solo to Jabba the Hutt after I am Skywalker. And then,
And
you know,
he's
Boba
just-
Fett pushes back. I love it. I love when people are having conversations while walking and quickly. I love it. And then this is one of the greatest lines ever. You think you're being treated unfairly?
Yeah. And you see
Nah.
that attitude change.
Yeah, he's like, nah, man, no,
Oh,
everything you're doing is spot on. It's cool.
So-
And this scene's also important. It tells you what's going to happen to Han,
yeah.
what the plan is here. So you're getting a
Yes.
little tactical overview. But it also gives you your first clue that you know, Vader's
That
kind of
Lando.
squeezing Lando.
Yeah, and Lando is not,
Mhm.
he
Yeah,
doesn't
he's
want
developing
this.
motivation to turn against the Empire.
Yeah.
And there's a great scene that I think it's underappreciated when Lando comes in to try to tell Han, right, it's coming up here. Han
Yes.
ends up punching Lando because he's not really listening to what Lando says.
Yeah.
But Lando's
Mhm.
telling him, like, hey, man,
Yeah.
you know, I'm trying to figure out what's going on. I'm trying to think of something. And that's an important scene because it shows you that Lando is in a tight spot and he's
Yeah.
not giving up on Han yet.
Yeah.
Han doesn't care, but we care as an audience member.
Yeah. I love it.
Why are they doing this? Yeah,
Yeah.
they never even asked me any questions.
Mhm.
And that's kind of, you know, girlfriend and boyfriendy, right?
Yeah, yeah.
They're finally,
Yeah.
you know, taking down their fronts.
I
Get
love
outta
how
here,
they graduate to that level. They don't just all of a sudden are all over each other.
Right.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
Lando's telling him the plan. That, you know, he's kind of leaking information here.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, he's on his way. Han's like, use.
You're a real hero.
Yeah, you're
Yeah.
a real hero. But Lando stops him from beating him. They were going to beat him there. And Lando's like,
Yeah.
all right, enough.
Yeah, and he stopped him
Yeah.
Yeah.
because he
Hero.
is stuck between a rock and a hard place because
Yeah.
he's got
100%.
all of
I
these
always-
other people that he's got to think about on Cloud City,
Yeah. They're
balanced
all
with
in
the fact
danger.
that this is his friend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the more I've understood the plot, the more I forgive Lando across the
Oh,
board,
yeah,
pretty
yeah.
much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
God, I love the end of Empire Strikes Back, guys. I love the Battle of Hoth. And I love this.
Yeah.
Right when I
Yes.
see these orange lights, I literally,
Oh,
every time I'm
yeah.
like, oh man, here we go.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Lord Vader ship approaching, X-Wing class.
That's why we're going to test it on Captain Solo. I'm like, Dang, that's gangster.
Yeah.
It's so. I love Lando. He's like, it could kill Luke. He's like, good. We'll test it on your friend. And Han's like, damn it.
Yeah.
That's so sinister. That's like ratcheting it up. Like, can you
Yeah.
get any more evil? Nope. I
Yeah.
can't.
Well, and Vader's also basically saying Luke's not expendable, but Han is.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so that's kind of like, eesh.
Yeah.
God, the music in this is so good. So, you know, and this is by the way, this is echoed in Mustafar as well. But the orange lights give it a hell-like appearance.
Yeah.
It's dark. You know, you have all of this fire symbolism in there. There's a pit where you get, you know, entombed. You know, so this is a good setting. The artist delivered. The filmmakers came through. Vader looks comfortable here. It's just perfect stuff.
And the lighting coming from below really gives, you know, has a sense of foreboding, like, okay, this is not good.
I love all the side conversations here.
I love
this.
My
Notice
man's
Vader
talking
does
to him.
not let Boba Fett shoot. I love this.
Yeah, she's
Shoves-
like,
Yeah.
I don't do that then.
But why?
Yeah, that's what I've
always
always
been-
asked.
That's
I've always been
interesting.
intrigued by that because he's aiming at Chewie. Vader doesn't care about Chewie.
Yeah.
But I think to me, that's the first clue that Vader cares about Luke, his son's heroic partners.
Yes.
These are the heroic partners of Luke Skywalker, and Vader gives a stand down,
Which
you know,
he
kind
didn't
of
have.
physically forces Boba to stand down.
Or that he
And then they
had,
finally
but Anakin went the other way, as we all know.
Right.
This was, oh my gosh.
Yes.
This was an improvised line I heard.
Yeah, it was great.
I love you. Yeah, I know.
I know.
I figured.
That's perfect.
Yeah, it's exactly the right way to answer that for Han Solo.
I remember seeing Luke Leia's face during this and just being like so heartbroken for her. Because
Mhm.
she's like, I mean, talk about the acting in this scene. It's just so good.
Mhm.
Just when, oh my gosh, when they drop the carbonite
Ooh, the chilling
container
sound.
and just with
Now-
the way he's,
That whole sequence with John Williams' score and all the faces looking at each other, you know, then they cut,
Yeah.
this guy looks
Mhm.
over there, and this guy looks over there, and you know, and Han's looking, like, it's just cinematic filmmaking at its highest.
and
Exactly.
it's just perfect.
Exactly.
Like, what happened to him? What happened to him? And
Yes.
Yeah.
And the
He's in
sound this thing makes, it's like a delayed
yes.
metal.
Yeah.
It's awful.
Ooh.
And the way his face is frozen, it's just like, oh my gosh.
Oh,
And she jumps at it. It's
yeah.
Han's entombed.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And Irving Kershner
That's
said,
the love of her life, and he's in this kind of horrible thing.
yeah, I mean, it's another warrior down. You know, the Empire
Mhm.
got him. Maybe Han Solo didn't win.
Yeah.
And Irving Kershner said, because remember, Han's in handcuffs. He
Mhm.
says that he thought
Yes.
Han broke out of the handcuffs right before he got frozen. So that was a clue that Han still tried to do one more thing before he froze.
That's a good
I
point. Yeah.
love that. I love it.
Yeah. See that he finds
Pray I
his way
don't
in
halt
you.
it any further. What you gonna do about it? Nothing. Yeah, that's what I thought.
Nothing.
Dang.
Okay.
I am
Now, you
altering deal.
might be a little bit ahead of me because I was like, oh, what's going on?
You
Here we go.
notice the music changes, and it's like a funeral dirge.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
I
definitely.
love that look between Lando and Lobot.
Yep.
Kind of like, what next, boss? You know?
And knowing that Lando is a gambler, you know he's probably got several plans. Plan A, plan B, plan C.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like, well, we'll figure something out. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's him and Lando, Lando and Han are, you know, they are kind of these guys that are like great improvisers, you know. They're
Mhm.
like, okay,
Yeah.
if
Yeah.
this happens, we'll go to plan C, and if that happens,
Right.
we'll do this.
Totally. So he's got that kind of gambling maverick mentality, which I love.
Yeah.
And he's
Mhm.
got administrative experience. This guy would have been perfect for the New Republic.
Oh
I
yeah.
just, I just think they blew it with him. I love seeing him come into the sequel. I just love seeing Billy D. Williams come
Oh
back,
yeah.
but he was
Mhm.
criminally misused in that sequel trilogy.
Oh
It's
yeah.
a trap.
Yeah.
I love the way he's so like he's trying to figure out who's this guy, Luke? Who is he?
Yeah.
Just want to
Mhm.
see a glimpse of this guy.
My dad loves Lando's reaction here, where he's like squinting and trying to get a good look at the
Yeah, yeah,
Skywalker guy.
yeah.
My dad loves that.
Yeah. And by the way, it's a trap was it's repeated in the next movie.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's a trap. Whoa. Whoa. I love
I
it.
always got a kick out of this. Luke's like, okay, she said it was a trap. Let me go in here then.
Yeah. I'm gonna
And
walk
then,
into it.
I wonder
then-
what she meant. Oops.
yeah. And then R2D2 is locked out of the whole thing, which is kind of a good idea because things
Mhm.
are about to get crazy, but
Here we go. This
he
is it.
doesn't
This is some
have.
of the greatest stuff ever filmed. I love it.
Oh
But you
yeah.
are not a Jedi yet.
Oh, I love it. I mean, Lucas, this is peak George Lucas. This is peak Star Wars. This is peak everything.
Yeah.
It's a
Mhm.
spiritual battle. Vader doesn't move a muscle standing
Yeah.
there. He's so
Mm-mm.
imposing.
And he's admiring his this young boy.
He's just like,
Oh yeah, you're so good.
But I like how Luke has to go up to Vader. It's not like
Yes.
Vader came up behind him and was like,
Yeah.
hello, Luke.
Yeah.
He's waiting up there for him. Now,
Yeah.
Luke swings first.
Yes. He's
mhm.
the
I
aggressor
love how
here.
you get a sense that Vader's just kind of like seeing where he's at skill wise. It's like,
yeah.
you're like
And
level
when I
3,
saw
bro.
this, I knew that was a mistake.
Yeah. I was like, oh man, I
Yeah.
don't think you're gonna make it.
You never come out
But
swinging
it says
after the
something.
bad guy.
It says something about Luke that he's willing to fight this guy, even though,
Yeah.
but you also know he's overmatched.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And there's a lot of, especially after the cave scene, you get this idea that he really does want to match up against Darth Vader, and he thinks possibly he could win.
Trust you.
Yeah, Lobot.
You had no choice.
Yeah, Chewie's pissed here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's like, "Ah."
I always get a kick out of C-3PO here in terms of dialogue. What are you doing? Trust him. Who says that?
Yeah.
Forever
but-
the protocol droid, because that's his
Yeah,
thing,
yeah.
is,
Yeah.
is diplomacy.
Yeah.
I'm sorry about all this. After all,
And-
he's only a Wookiee.
And I think you might be a few moments ahead of us.
Am I ever? Oh,
Maybe
okay.
maybe a few moments.
Oh, dang it.
Yeah.
Poor
I
Lando.
Yeah,
thought it
I'm
was
a
very
couple
interesting that if Chewie hadn't have been choking Lando, they would have been able to catch this ship, the Slave One.
Agreed.
I never heard of that. That's
Yeah.
totally right.
I agree.
Anger leads to hate, and hate leads to suffering.
Yeah.
Oh, I love this. There's something desperate and cool and fun in a film. We're trying to save Han from the bounty hunter. I love that.
Yes.
Okay, now
it's
about 3
exciting. You're on
seconds
an
ahead.
adventure again in that line.
And
And
if
there
any
goes
of
the
us
iron.
and if any of us were confused about what was going on, here we get that little exposition as to what's happening. And of
Mhm.
course, I love the fact that, of course, R2D2 is reconnected with his pal and buddy C-3PO.
Yes. Mhm.
Uh-oh.
So one thing I thought was when I remember watching the prequels for the first time, my first impressions, and I was upset about the lightsaber battles a little bit. because they lacked what the original trilogy always had in lightsaber battles, which was dialogue. These aren't just
Oh,
swords.
so
Mhm.
true.
Vader has an agenda. Luke has an agenda. When Vader
love
meets
this.
Obi-Wan, the dialogue is an extension of the combat. So I felt that was missing in the prequels, and it was also missing in the sequels. But they got it just right
Impressive.
in the original trilogy. All too easy.
Impressive. Most impressive.
Yeah.
Oh,
Like,
that was
okay.
amazing. I love this
Yeah.
particular scene. That he was able to impress Darth Vader.
Yeah, this was like
But
Luke's high point.
Yeah.
But you're right, Doug.
And
It's like in the original, the original 3 movies, there's always this exposition dialogue that's going on. It's like the battles have a purpose for
Yeah.
existing.
yes.
And
Yeah,
the
so
battle of the minds too. I mean, it's not just a physical battle; it's a battle of wits and the mind.
right.
Mhm.
So in my notes, I call this stylized combat. You have to have a cool way that characters fight each other. And there's rules to the combat, there's a look and feel to the combat. And lightsaber battles have all this. So that's why they're successful. But that's the artificial dressing. Underneath are the character motivations that are at play, the conflicting character motivations, and the
Mhm.
dialogue demonstrates that. The Matrix does this as well. When they're fighting, there's a lot of dialogue in that as well.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
you get a sense that it is the will. There's something about the character that's coming up and extending out into this combat. And that's what makes it so much better. That's what makes a good lightsaber battle from
Darth
an
Vader is just
average to a bad one.
Mhm.
all right. I'm sorry. I have a crazy crush on Darth Vader in this scene.
Do you really?
The way he walked into the shot was just like, whoa, look at
Oh,
that
yeah.
that
Very
walk.
imposing.
Moving stuff.
Yeah. I was like, and this was just beautiful. We didn't even touch him. He's like, yeah,
Mhm.
this is
Yeah.
the
I mean,
force.
Vader just outsmarts him with the force.
Yeah. This is what the force is.
And that's what he
Well,
did
and he's
not
giving
master on Dagobah.
Yeah.
right. So Vader's basically saying, bro, look what I could do. This is just like the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah.
What are we
And I'm not
fighting
even
for? I mean,
I'm not
he's
even
basically
breaking
trying
a
to say,
sweat.
why bother fighting? You can't beat me.
Yeah.
But Vader's also seeing that Luke does have some quality, some tenacity
Yeah.
that, it's kind of a Skywalker thing, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, he doesn't even say much to Luke there, does he?
I love that Leia has the blaster and she's like and she's the one with the firepower on this. So this really
Poor
gives you
R2.
character development for Lando. He's telling them, get the heck out of here because the Empire is taking over.
Yeah,
Poor
you're right.
R2.
Yeah. Oh, sweet little R2D2.
Chewie saved him.
Yeah.
But you're right, Retro. Lando gives the evacuation orders. He's like, dude, the
Mhm.
Empire's taking over the city. Get out. It's not worth it.
Yeah.
He's already a good guy. He's already a full good guy, in my opinion, right here.
Yeah.
It just took a nudge. Land all these heroics that Lando. Look at what Lando gave up.
Yeah.
His whole life on Cloud City.
Yeah. Respectability, the stature.
Yeah, legitimacy.
Yeah.
Yeah, Han never had all that.
Yeah.
When he turned, he was just giving up. The idea of living on his own. The idea of
R2 to the rescue again.
Man, 3PO is always talking crap about R2. Then when he does stuff like this, he's like, "I never doubted you."
And
Very
not
Laurel and Hardy-ish.
and never can any of the stormtroopers actually land a blow on R2.
Yeah, these are just classic stormtrooper pursuit scenes.
Yeah. Leia's holding it down, protecting them. So good.
I love that he's
Perfect
saying
comedy.
ouch because
Yeah.
droids don't feel pain.
Yeah.
Ooh. Leia. go. I always love that. It's like warriors in the heat of battle communicating.
Oh, that score.
Oh, it's just top shelf.
Ooh.
This is Williams' best, in my opinion. Empire Strikes Back. There's so much
Yeah.
music,
Oh,
and
yeah.
it's all just so
Yeah.
perfect. There's
Yeah.
so much complexity to it. And
Oh,
then
yeah.
here we are, the final act
Ooh.
of the Vader versus Luke showdown.
Such a great epic fight. Ah,
And, you know, Lucas had the guts to trust his artists. His artists obviously came up with these sets and these ideas and this
Oh.
image, this look, and he
Mhm.
stuck with it. There's a functionality to it, right? They're in some sort of a tube, a
Yeah.
wind tunnel. Luke's just purely
is-
defense here.
yeah,
Vader's tough here.
I mean, oh man.
I mean, this is like
He's
Rogue One
scampering.
Vader.
Yeah, he's scampering for his life.
Mhm.
I love that shot. You have a still camera shot, and the two guys fighting come into the shot.
Oh, yeah.
You are beaten. It is useless
Like,
to resist.
okay, daggone it. Now I gotta teach you something.
I know. He got one little shot in on him.
You know, but Luke, I love this. Luke scores here.
Dang.
He's like, gotcha. And then
Yeah.
1, 2, 3 moves later.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I love it. And Vader growls when he gets hit in the
Yeah.
shoulder.
This is the first time he actually called him by his first name.
Yeah.
Luke. Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
That's the line I always tell my kids. Don't make me destroy
They
you.
destroy you.
He's galaxy.
The dark
With
side.
our combined strength.
Yeah.
I freaking love this. This is so maniacal.
It is.
Oh my God. He's on the very edge. He's gonna fall
I mean,
any
this is the
second.
best.
Yeah.
I mean, Luke's out of moves. He's standing on some platform
Yeah.
over a bottomless pit. Well, this guy's like, hey,
And this was
Join
the mic drop. They're like, what?
Yeah.
no.
What?
That's impossible.
And Lucas did the work. He goes, what is the most? He said he talked to a psychologist and he goes, what is the reaction to hearing something like this? And the psychologist says denial is the most
Yeah.
likely human reaction. So
Yeah.
he's like, okay. So Luke's like, no, I don't believe you. You know,
Yeah.
can it be true?
And it feels very much like a raw guttural reaction of a child too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Retro, right on. That's exactly right.
My dad is the most hated man in the galaxy. You gotta be kidding me on this one.
It is your destiny. God, I love this stuff. This is
It's
as good
so
as it gets,
good.
guys.
Yeah, he's like, I'd rather die than to be join you.
Come with me.
And you're like, oh no, poor Luke. This is the end.
So what do you think happened here? So was Luke committing suicide? Did Vader
Yes.
steer him into this tube? Like how did he get this lucky landing here?
I
have any
think it was
spec-
pure luck.
Pure luck? Okay. That's
I
kind of
think
what
it
I
was.
thought, but I wondered if there's any other theories out there.
Yeah, I think it was pure luck.
I thought it was luck too.
Okay.
Yeah. But I think when he does want to live, but he doesn't want to live with Vader, and he's far away from him now enough to want to live again. I mean, that's what I was thinking psychologically.
Like something on his own kind of.
Okay, that makes sense.
I think
Right, Mark-
he just wanted to get away from Vader.
Mark D with a C brings up something I was going to mention.
Woo!
So they kept it out of the script
Yes.
that Vader was his father. It was a big secret even back in 1979 when they were filming this, that Vader was the dad. So they kept it out of the script. And the line that they put in the script was, I killed your father.
Yeah.
Or no, he says, Obi-Wan killed your father. And Luke was like, no, I don't, and it's funny because a couple of the crew members thought Mark Hamill was overacting. Like,
Yeah.
oh man, he's really selling out in this scene.
Yeah.
So they added it later, and it all made sense.
Yeah. Oh man.
We were pretty much all like that, screaming
Yeah.
our head like, no,
Yeah. I'm sure my mom and I looked at each other. We were like, "What?"
What? And this is now we're getting a clue that Leia has some Force ability.
Yeah.
George Lucas's original plan for the sequel trilogy, and I am so mad at Disney for throwing this in the trash because they blew it. The original plan was it really to return to Leia. She was going to become the chosen one, and
Yeah.
her moment was in the Galactic Republic in the sequel trilogy, and it was all thrown away, and it was a
Oh,
waste.
no.
And guess who the villain was supposed to be?
Ooh.
Darth Maul was supposed to be the villain in the sequel trilogy.
See,
With
Oh, yeah.
yeah, I thought he was gonna. That would have been cool to have
Yeah.
him,
Darth-
even though he did get cut in half and whatnot.
he was supposed to return with a apprentice named Darth Talon, I think, who was a female
Yeah.
Twi'lek, a female
Yes,
Twi'lek
I know who she
apprentice,
is. Mhm.
and he had gathered a crime syndicate to basically lead a guerrilla war against the New Republic. And his goal was to destroy the Jedi Temple once and for all. When I read, and Leia was supposed to become and I was like, and we got what we got?
Yeah.
Dude, that's terrible.
Yeah.
Anyway, whatever. Not even worth talking about on this stream.
Yeah.
This was so cool.
Lando, that's a great shot. The moving
Yeah.
camera as Lando
Yeah.
comes up.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So it's like sometimes practical effects are the best effects. There's
Yeah.
something more, I would say, tactile about them.
Yeah. Well, and this is like the one time the good guys start to score a little bit. They get Luke out of there. They
Mhm.
make their escape. It's like they're finally, I mean, it's not great, but they're doing something.
It's the Emperor shuttle. Wait. Is it? No, it's not the Emperor shuttle.
Yeah, an Imperial shuttle. Not the Emperor, but shuttle Tiderium.
Oh, yeah.
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 This is all
Don't
added,
talk
by
to
the way.
me. Don't look at me. I don't
Somehow
want
I
to talk
got.
to any of y'all.
Somehow I pushed ahead. I don't know. Above.
I got Leia. She just okay.
Identified the.
sunrise. Star
Oh, yeah.
Destroyer.
Okay, I'm back.
Star
I'm back.
Destroyer.
This is just classic stuff. Han's in trouble, or I should say, the Millennium Falcon's in trouble. TIE fighters shooting at it. We've been here before.
Yeah.
When I saw this, I was like, "Oh, you gotta be kidding me!"
I know, right? I
When
love.
you do this.
Yeah. I love
love
the
that.
way they paused before reacting.
Chewie like shoves them, and Lando's like, ugh.
Then it's like, "Oh, okay, yeah, they did that."
Did your men deactivate the hyperdrive?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we did that.
Bonzo. Yeah, Bonzo's back. Wants to know what he
Bonzo.
missed. Bonzo, you won't believe it. Vader is Luke's dad.
Yeah, totally
You missed a lot.
mind blown.
I love this. It's like, who told you? The station's computer told you? Can't believe it's strange computer.
Brilliant writing.
Yeah.
But this is how we know. I mean, we knew when Vader says, did you deactivate the hyperdrive? And then, the computer, the computer told me. But it's like, well, why didn't you say something before?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, because it just wouldn't have made sense writing-wise, right?
Yeah.
Correct. Then why didn't you tell me?
Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta love Chewie.
Yeah.
That is a
He's,
big ship.
Yeah.
I mean, Luke looks like a hot mess. My goodness. Just messed up.
And with all the bad news going on in this movie, with the rebels, with Han, with Luke, with everybody.
Luke, it is your destiny. Dang.
Yeah. Luke just doesn't respond.
You said you weren't ready to face Vader yet?
Now he's starting to understand what they were getting at.
Yeah. But it took that beating in order to know, right?
I mean, Luke's lucky he got out of there.
Oh, yeah, he is so lucky.
Mhm.
Vader's policy was he will join us or die. So
Yeah,
Yep.
and that was kind of his
It's
choice.
like 1,000 pieces, and you think you can fix the computer hyperdrive.
you know, with all the bad stuff going on in this movie, that was so satisfying
Oh, it was. It
to
was.
see the
And
to see the
look at
That Darth
Vader.
Vader's
Oh,
just
he
like,
has to double check. He was like, "What? These guys? I love it."
y'all
And
lucky I'm not force
uh,
choking any of y'all right now.
I love
they
Piet.
are so scared.
Admiral Piet's like,
Oh boy.
Yeah. Well, the Lord
Oh
Vader,
boy.
you did go after him.
yeah, it's
So,
like he's so pissed that he forgot to punish Piet, and
Yeah.
Piet got like get out of jail free card there.
mhm.
Well, but I mean, to his point, it wasn't his fault.
Well, but Vader said, did your men deactivate? He's like, yep, we got it. And it's like, and it's like Vader was like, and he just walked by Piet. If I was
like,
Admiral Piet, I'd loosen my collar, I'd pour myself a bourbon,
Mhm.
yeah. Oh man.
and
I would
to the
just pee right
Empire.
there. Just like pee right right there. Like,
Right
oh
on
man,
my
this is
last
the
will
end.
and testament, just in case, we did do it.
Oh man, I love it.
And Lando's wearing Han's classic vest
Yes,
in this
yeah.
scene.
Yeah. Here we got his robotic hand.
Yeah, pretty
This is
cool. I
so
always thought this
cool.
was cool.
Yeah. We're getting close to that technology.
I'm glad they
Mhm.
had one of those in like the cabinet on this ship.
Oh man.
Well, I guess it's
And
the
this
medical toilet.
shot
Yeah, well,
at,
yeah,
you know,
it might be a an organic copy, or you may have an organic copier
this
machine there.
shot. Oh my
What a
gosh.
shot,
You
right?
Yeah.
see
A galaxy in the
the
background.
galaxy, you see the fleet, you see Millennium Falcon go,
So great.
And
and
it's a
our
good
heroes just got handed the worst beating ever.
and
Uh,
it's kind of a subdued optimism here. The music,
yeah.
everything, it's subdued.
Yeah.
They're
Mhm.
licking their wounds, but there's a little thread of optimism there.
Yeah.
We're
Yeah,
going to
we'll
get
put 'em
Han. We got
back.
a plan.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, that's the
Bittersweet.
rebellion, folks. They're just a bunch
Yeah.
of ships in space right now. Not
Yeah.
Yeah,
not a lot
Scattered.
going on.
Yeah.
scattered.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So cool. Directed by
Oh man.
Urban
And to this
Coaster.
day, when
Yeah.
it shrinks in and the music strikes and the credits roll, I'm still satisfied. You know?
You're still like, is he really his dad?
Yeah.
Really? I gotta know. Or is he just messing with him? But just having something like that happen is, I want to say, not the same, but like the same effect of like who shot JR.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Like
Yeah.
who did it? Just
Yeah.
that we're, gonna.
That was
Although,
a big thing.
yeah,
Who
having
shot
Bobby
it?
Ewing
Yeah.
wake up and shout it, nah.
Yeah. But in 1980, let's dial back the clock to May of 1980. You just walked out of seeing this. It's the first time, Star Wars was an event. It was a phenomenon in 1977. Here's the follow-up.
Uh-huh.
And this is how it ends. The good guy, we just spent 2 hours seeing the good guys get
Yep.
whooped up on, and then it ends, and
Yeah.
it's like, I could not imagine being an adult, like full, and knowing what to think about
Yeah.
this.
Yeah.
Right.
It was so shocking, and sort of, again, if you were able to be back then and at that time, the anticipation was like, when is the next one coming out? And so they had reports on
Mhm.
that. It was a big deal on television. It was a big deal at water coolers everywhere, at schools everywhere. Like, oh my God, can you believe that Luke is Vader's son, and just
Oh,
the magic of that, like, and how are they gonna? I mean, look, they have to rescue Han. This is crazy. You think that Lando's gonna find him? Like, he could be anywhere, and so that was some really awesome, you know, franchise stuff that we don't get that hype so much anymore, except for Marvel's pretty good at it right now.
Mhm.
But well, it was better before, but it is kind of losing its footing. But it at one point, Marvel was able to do some of that excitement like that.
I agree.
Um, yeah. And before we go on, I wanted to do one little thing. Oh, Dan says happy 45th anniversary, Empire Strikes Back. Thank you
Ah,
so much for
nice.
reminding us. And yes, the scene that we just saw, I'm gonna give you guys a little visual here from a movie that was, I believe this was 1961. Does that look familiar?
Oh, what? Yeah. Which movie is
Yes.
this?
So this is from a movie called, let me see if I can get that
Hmm.
name of it, The Phantom Planet. And I believe it wasn't
Wow.
done in the 60s. I don't have an exact, if somebody could do the research real quick on Google and check to see what year that was. It was a really interesting movie. I did a review for it.
1961. You're right on the money, Retro.
Oh, sweet. My memory is working a little bit today. And you take your wins when you get them. And I did do a review for this movie. It was really quite entertaining and fun. But yeah, they did it is a scene from that movie in which you get almost the same cutout kind of window, and it's very inspiring to see, especially how things are positioned. They're very much very much the same,
Mhm.
so that kind of inspiration is there. There was like a little
That's awesome.
battle scene in that movie as well, which I thought was really good. It was very rudimentary, though, and just listening and watching that scene, I'm like, it just gives you Star Wars flashbacks. And so there
Hmm.
is a bit of connective tissue with their little space scene, with
Well, and
when you
Phantom
think
Menace,
of,
Phantom Planet.
okay. Very interesting, yeah. So yeah,
Yeah.
that was a definitely a cool find in the retro space, if you will, in sci-fi. So yes.
Wow, that's pretty cool. I've never seen that before anywhere.
Yeah, yeah, and
Cool.
I wonder if you go through all of these movies, what other, wonderful little trinkets we might find from that we see reflected in modern movies. So
Yeah, I love that stuff. I
yeah,
love seeing, it's funny. Some people are like, "Oh, he ripped off this," or Lucas was known for borrowing and ripping. You hear this up, but it's like that's how creativity works. You're not ripping something off.
yes,
What happened is you're watching a movie in 1961 and you're blown away. Something blows your hair back, and you're like, "Oh my god, I'm
that's
thrilled."
yeah,
That's inside you now. That's
yeah,
inside. That's a seed that has been planted. And when you're a creative coming into your own, that seed grows into something and you're drawing on all the things that excited you.
oh
So
yeah,
there's going to
yeah,
be something from that you start pulling from that becomes something else. And that's just how creativity works.
yeah,
So it's okay. You mix the thing, you mix War of the Worlds, and boom, the Battle of Hoth. It's a beautiful alchemy, you know?
ye-
So, and that
yeah,
one right there, that scene, that must have been left an impression on him, staring out through the window at
yes,
a wild world galaxy with impending optimism of some kind. Now it's at the end of Empire Strikes Back.
yeah,
Thank you. I'm happy
okay,
with that.
yeah. I mean, these are the things that inspired the filmmakers of the 70s were definitely the movies of the 50s and 60s.
Love
And
that.
they were finally able to make movies. They incorporated all that stuff in there. Just like you know, uh, a lot of the movies that are inspired a lot of the filmmakers in the 90s seem to be the stuff of the 70s. So I think that was really, it's really interesting to see that uh, so far back. And Moonbeam compares Phantom Planet to Gulliver's Travels, which is very interesting. It has something to do with a giant, and then
Mhm.
so it's very
Hmm.
interesting. Um,
Right.
And Dan Grissom says not enough credit goes out to Lucas's model makers.
Could not
Yes,
agree more.
at Industrial Light and Magic, such
Mm-hmm.
great work. And even though this movie has been altered and changed, again, it's one times where I would say all the changes were just to enhance what was already there. And I mean, from experience of seeing this back in 1980, that stuff blew our minds. And so this is just like, it just enhanced what was already there, which I hope is, when you go back and you do a little change here and there, that's the intention, is to make it better. So
Right.
Mm-hmm.
not
And
just to
also
make it more modern.
and also keep in mind that with George Lucas, not only launching Pixar, because he actually had that with Pixar,
Oh,
spinning off Industrial Light and Magic and Skywalker Sound. Those are two things that have been
Ooh.
industry. I mean, that is the SFX house. I mean, now it's like they have people subcontract for them or whatever, but chances are a movie that you saw recently, ILM and Skywalker Sound had a hand in it. Case in point, I'll bring it up. If you just went to see Sonic 3, guess who helped
Ooh.
with the special effects in there?
Who?
The first house that you'll see is Industrial Light and Magic, and then you'll see the other subcontracted special effects houses that worked for them. So it's interesting because in the 80s they pioneered this stuff,
Yeah.
but one of the things that help bankroll Lucasfilm, of course, is all these subcontracts that they get through Industrial Light and Magic. So
Yep.
there's ILM, and then of course there's Weta that's in New Zealand, and then there's also DNEG, which I think it's Australia, or is it Great Britain? Either way, DNEG worked on Oppenheimer, but ILM also had a
Oh.
hand in working on Oppenheimer as
Oh,
well. So
man, what a
Wow.
movie. That was just
Well, and what's
beautiful.
funny enough, they helped with a lot of the Star Trek movies behind the scenes, and
mhm.
they were not available for Star Trek 5. And if you watch Star Trek 5, you could see
Oh,
what
really?
the other industry was capable of, and it wasn't anywhere near the level of Industrial Light and Magic and Skywalker Sound, the exact companies that Lorraine is talking
Mhm.
about.
Yeah.
So, it wasn't just George Lucas. He was at the head of a merry band of creatives, craftsmen, thinkers, artists. And I
Yes.
think what happened was he somehow found the right, perfect guy. John Williams, I mean, dude, you just picked the number one draft pick in every category.
Oh, man,
You know,
yes.
so like you did it. You found these guys with pent up desire to create something new and interesting and intriguing. And Dan or whoever just said that, that there's not enough credit that goes to behind the scenes. I
Yes.
agree. Those guys are
Yeah.
brilliant, and the art directors. But also Lucas had
Mhm.
the ability and foresight to stick with their vision. When they said, "Here's what the final scene should look like," Lucas is like, "Make that exact set." Boom, there it is. And now
Yeah.
you've got it.
Yeah. Let me see.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Um, and just going on, Keith E. Says, I watched with visual description on it and it was excellent. Oh, wow. I'm so glad you enjoyed it. And
Very cool.
yeah, sometimes the visual descriptions can be really beautiful when they get
Mhm.
down to it. Charles Radcliffe says it was fun hanging out with all of you. I'm getting ready for Lorena Creole
Is
Spaceballs
that what you
later
have next,
on.
Lorena?
Yes, we were watching Spaceballs tonight.
Yes, which is great because it incorporates both, Empire Strikes Back and
Oh my
actually all
God.
three of the movies, I think,
Mm.
in it. So it's going to be a lot of fun, guys. Let me see if I could get a link for you to join us in a few minutes. Actually, wow.
Oh
So
wow.
I gotta hurry up and finish this. Let's see. Um, Oh, is that this week or is that next week? The
Which one?
Spaceballs?
Spaceballs is tonight.
Oh,
Yes.
okay.
Spaceballs is tonight. This week.
Okay. Great. Okay, so let me make sure that I guys just so that way I make sure. Here we go. Spaceballs
Yeah.
watch party, and go paste.
What time is that, Lorena? 7:00 on your channel?
Yeah, 7 Central, 8 p.m. Eastern.
Yes.
And if you haven't already, click the like button, share this out, whatever you could do to help Retro beat the algorithm.
Yes, let's beat that. Let's beat the algorithm. Yeah.
Yes. And if you're over there on X, because there's been over like 188 of you watching this stream over there on X, make sure you come on over to YouTube and subscribe to Retro Nerd Girl.
Thank you guys. You guys are so
Yes.
amazing. And Jack
Yeah,
says Lucas invokes the Shakespeare dictum borrow from the best. Yes, so good.
Yeah.
And
well, you're drawing upon things that worked. That's the right idea. What you don't want to do is the Ryan Johnson thing and be like, I'm going to do what never worked and subvert your expectations.
So, yes, let's remember the super chat and the member gift that we got later on. Let me just see if I got. Let's see, by Skywalker the Jedi. I just want to say thank you. And let me see if I can get my thank you in order here. Let's see. We'll do this one. So amazing. Oh, you did. Thank you. I love it too. And let's see. I'm gonna zoom down really quick. I hope I don't really mess too much with your. If you have any pressing things, you can mention it again. But Mark D with a C says Star Trek V needs redone special effects. Oh, okay. Such as it's such a shame that they were so bad. Originally, it was supposed to have a rock monster, which is why at the end. That is at the end of Galaxy Quest. Oh, interesting. I didn't know that. Yeah. Okay. Some things are
Speaking of Galaxy Quest, we did do a watch party on my channel for Galaxy Quest. You guys have blown that video up. So after my watch party tonight, we want to go back and check it out. Oh my gosh, we had a blast with that.
I know. Yeah, that was so much fun.
Galaxy Quest is great.
Oh, isn't it so great? And Dan says it's a shame that Lucas lost the 1999 special effects Oscar to The Matrix. After that, The Lord of the Rings took the trophies. Yes, and
all these movies, generally speaking, I believe were snubbed.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. And Botanical Brother says good night, and also want to say good night to Joseph Begay, who left a little earlier, and Rick Manella says, "Look like I'm following you to Spaceballs." Yes, yes, we're just gonna make a big party of it, and it's gonna be so much fun. And let's see. Let's just keep going really quick. And of course, one of my favorite lines from the movie, merchandising. My other one is suck.
And there's one part in that movie, it's not Star Wars related, but it is one of the freaking funniest ripoffs of a classic sci-fi moment ever. I'm not going to say
hello, my baby.
Oh, yes. Oh,
my gosh.
So good. Yes. And thank you so
love
much,
that. That is great.
Says clobber the like button, everyone. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. That's
I only clicked like. I'm gonna go clobber it real quick.
And let's see. Give me 1 second. Let's see. For some reason, I lost my way here. Okay. Oh, okay. I think I got it back. And Keith E says, I will watch the next one, getting ready for next Friday. I haven't seen that one either. Oh, okay.
Return of the Jedi?
Maybe I'm missing something. I'm probably missing something. But
I think Keith means Return of the Jedi.
oh, Return of the Jedi. Oh, okay. Maybe, yes, might be something for from Theory. Okay, so guys, letting you know, next week is Return of the Jedi, which is so completely. Oh, that's my little
The
alarm that tells
conclusion.
me that, yeah, that tells me that I need to head over to Lorena Creole's channel. That was my.
It's usually
So,
to cut me off from talking.
yeah, so next week, everybody, please do join us for for the Retro Nerd Girl watch party. It's going to be Return of the Jedi to complete the entire series of the original Star Wars movies that started it all. And it's just been so much fun. Any last words or anything you guys want to say about your future endeavors?
Well, I just want to say thank you.
Oh, we'll let Doug go first.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh no, I was gonna say one thing I want to plug here, and hopefully you can show this because we keep saying that we are your Saturday evening movie
Ooh.
checks. So over on my Teespring store, which I have finally launched because YouTube keeps showing some
cool.
bad words, we have got merchandise.
Merchandise.
Dude, that's
We got
awesome.
merchandise. So yes, you definitely want to check it out. I'll have a link in the video description for the Spaceballs watch party tonight. But definitely, please do consider purchasing some merch.
Yes.
Lorena, that
That's
is
gonna be so
awesome.
amazing, right?
Thank you. CJ whipped that up for me. So I will send Retro Nerd Girl the link as well. So she'll have it. Take my money.
Yes. So
Oh,
sweet.
thank you. Well,
Yeah.
thank you. We've got I've got a bunch of different things up here, including you can even have an apron too, because you know we like snacks.
Yes.
Parties. So hopefully you
Oh,
guys
man.
will go and check that out. So that's all I wanted to plug. I wanted to plug the merchandise, especially
Yeah.
given the movie we're gonna watch tonight over on
Yes.
this channel.
Fantastic.
It's so great. Like she said, that's something that she was doing. I was like, oh my god, this is going to be so much fun. And Moonbeam also says merchandising where the real money to the channel is made. Yeah, yeah, we have to say so. So yeah. So guys, we're heading off, and again, I hope to see you over on Lorena's channel for the next movie, Spaceballs, that we're going to be watching. Hope you have a copy ready and available to watch with us. And I guess we'll have to see you next week. Take care, everybody.
Good night, everybody. May the force be with you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Always.
Yeah.
Retro Nerd Girl, you are clear for takeoff.
In the neon light she stands, retro girl with nerd comments. Memory lane she takes your hand to the past where good times land. Pixels glow and screens do hum, hear the beat of retro drum. Geeks unite, oh here we come, nerdy world where we're from. Retro logo leads the way, in the night to yesterday. All the nerds come out to play, she's the light, won't go away. Film and movies on rewind, good old days in nerdy mind. Retro nerd girl you will find, guiding us all intertwined. Joystick games and cosmic fights, wondrous days and sleepless nights. With her everything feels right, retro glow in neon lights. unite. Oh, here we come. Nerdy world where we're from. Retro Narco leads the way. In the night to yesterday. All the nerds come out to play. She's the light, won't go away. Film and movies on rewind. Good old days in nerdy mind. Retro nerd girl you will find, guiding us all intertwined. Joystick games and cosmic fights. Wonders days and sleepless nights. With her everything feels right. Retro glow